music too.
Yo, 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 brother.
A Friday night
It's
evening.
a it's a freaking Friday, brother.
We're getting
What's
into
up,
the
man?
long weekend, brother.
Why?
Monday's Labor Day.
No, I know, but you said long, like it's.
Oh, like a good long, not like
Oh,
a.
okay,
Yeah, no, I did kind of say that kind of depressing, like.
yeah. Yeah, I have
No,
off.
just an extra day off. So
Yeah, I have off Monday also, and Tuesday actually, but that's on my own accord. But yeah,
I was actually funny thing is I was debating on taking on Tuesday to go to Top Golf with some people from work, but I don't think it's falling through.
hmm.
Ironically,
top
um,
top golf. You're the top golfer of the top golf community.
have you ever been to Top Golf?
Golfers
Do
of
you even know what
top.
the fuck that is? Do you even know what that is? Like actually?
Yes.
Okay, so wasn't sure because the way you were sounding that just made it sound like an idiot.
Yes, I
Yeah,
know.
I'm the top golfing
No,
topper.
no, I'm one
Have
of
you ever
my.
been? I
I've
know you're
never.
not like a
No, no, no.
golfer, but
I've never been. One of this girl I used to know. She went with her homegirl like on the regular, and they would only go to get drunk and pretend like they knew how to golf, and they would like wear their hats and like they've got little
to
outfits
be
and
fair,
everything.
that's like
Like,
everybody. I think there,
what are you
like
doing there?
90% of
Like,
the people that go there don't go there because they golf. They just go there because it's fun to do that kind of golf.
yeah, it's
Because it's
just something
obviously not
different to
golf.
do.
Well, it is golf, but it's literally just fucking hitting a ball with a club.
It's just something different to do.
Yeah, it really. It's just it's its own like activity. And the environment's cool. They did really good with making it more geared towards like the younger generation. Cuz some of them like the one in Georgia has like an actual like a club attached to it and everything. I don't know. I
'Cause
wonder
there's one
you
right down
obviously
there
know since
towards Virginia, right? In
there
Southern
is
Maryland,
one
and then there's one in
there's
Virginia.
there's one in Virginia.
Yeah.
It's like one of the original ones actually. I
Okay.
forget what city it's in. I've been to that one, but it's like an old school, and you can tell it was like one of the first ones because it looks like a normal like clubhouse kind of, or whatever you call them, clubs.
Yeah.
But you know they're building one in Baltimore, right?
I did not know
Where,
that.
where the animal shelter is in downtown Baltimore, or
Yeah.
where it was. They donated like, pretty sure this is a story I heard. I don't actually because this, but I'm pretty sure they donated like millions of dollars to them so they could rebuild their facility, so they could buy the property from them and build Top Golf on with where the animal shelter
Wow.
was.
Well, when they build one here, I'll go with you if you want to
It's
come.
gonna be, you know that it's gonna be busy as fuck, dude. But I'll go. I'll go.
I'll go with
There's
you.
also one in the National Harbor.
I didn't know that. No, that's the one I was thinking of. That's the one I was thinking of
It's a
first.
pretty nice
Yeah,
one
yeah,
down in
yeah.
National Harbor.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
pretty
no,
nice
no,
one.
that's the one I was thinking of first. And then I knew there was one in Virginia because I drove past it a ton of times, going from obviously here to Georgia
Yeah.
and Florida and shit.
That one's nice too, but just the facility itself isn't like as modern,
Yeah.
I guess, as the rest of them that I've been to.
Yeah.
Yeah, though I don't know when the one in Baltimore is supposed to be done, but from what I understand, they've already broke ground. Like they already started building it and shit.
Probably take a while. I
What's
would
that?
assume.
The structure-wise is not that hard to. Well, I guess there's a lot underground to do,
Probably, yeah.
but I don't know. But you know they're gonna be raking in revenue, so they probably want to push that as quickly as possible.
Mhm.
Because those have been like super fucking popular though, even though it is like not like a. I guess because it is just so unique in itself that it has more popularity towards it. It's not
Yeah.
like something that you just could do every like it's like open another movie theater or open a bowling alley or like even it's not even a golf range because it's completely different. So in the
Yeah,
sense of like all the stuff they do with it.
Mommy V Bucks is talking about opening a roller skating rink with like a bar in it. Yeah, so that'd be kind of. I mean, I'm
Be
not into
interesting.
that kind of thing, but she likes roller skating and shit.
Not my
So.
thing either, but I mean, wouldn't be a bad idea, especially if you got the right location. The problem with roller skating though is you really got to be able to attract a crowd fast. And
Well,
it's
the
tough.
main
It's
thing
not
is
like a
that
common thing nowadays either.
she wants to promote it as an adult venue with
Like
a
a club.
bar and
Yeah.
basically a club, but you can roller
With
skate
roller
around in it.
skating.
Yeah, not like how most roller skate, like the one
Actually,
down
that'd be
in
kind of cool then, yeah. Where it's like you 12-year-olds and
yeah, in
fucking
Odenton, where
teenagers.
it's literally just a bunch of kids and there's like fucking Kids Bop playing over the stair, and you can just get
Honestly,
a
that
hot
would be
dog and
actually kind of
nachos.
cool.
Instead, you can get like a full on bar, so it's gonna be like drunk people skating around, probably
Well,
busting
plus,
their ass
well,
regularly.
the only problem is that you would, yeah. I guess the one thing that would be kind of cool is if you did like EDM nights, and everyone can have like their own headsets and be like skating to like their own music and shit. That'd be kind of dope,
Yeah, she could.
just for like the EDM
I was
crowd.
telling her that if she does that though, she's gonna need like drinking with that mixture. Like she's gonna need to like if people are skating, they're gonna have to sign some kind of like waiver that like if you
Yeah,
hurt
that if
yourself
they do
because you're
something, it's
drinking and
liable
skating,
for your own fault. Yeah.
yeah, like it's not. I didn't convince you to drink alcohol and go roller skating at as fast
But
as
I did
possible.
start the business and needed to
But
decide, yeah. But yeah, for legal reasons, I'd probably be smart too, though. But I mean, that's not really that hard. Let's just take a consent form. People
yeah,
sign those shit.
no, that's what I'm
People sign
saying.
this shit all the time. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's literally just
we're not liable for
when
injuries
like
while you're
you
here.
go into paid to like to actually use the roller skating rink because you can
Buy the
go
skates,
in
buy
and not
skates, yeah.
skate. When you ask for skate, even if you bring your own skates, usually you have to pay to use the actual rink because it costs money to upkeep that shit. And obviously you don't want just people just hanging out there not spending any money. So like when they go to in there to use the roller skating rink, you would have make them sign a waiver or a piece of paper that says, if I injure myself while I'm fucking drinking 17
Well, I'm
shots
doing
of
some
vodka
sick-ass tricks in my
and 3
ski.
PBRs, and I fucking go 10 miles an hour towards the wall and fucking break my fucking ankle. It's not your fault, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah,
I feel like you could get a unique card out of that, though. The more I think about it,
yeah,
because I feel like some people would literally go just to do it. Like if they're like, "Oh, I don't really skate, but I'll drink and hang out." And then there's also
it's
people
it's
like, "I
like
like to
it's
skate
like
and
a
I could go like and hang out in adult form."
it's like a Top Golf kind of situation. People aren't going to
Yeah.
most. I would say most people that are going to Top Golf. Everyone I know that goes to Top Golf doesn't fucking golf. They go there
Well,
to
and
drink and pretend like they want to golf, and really it's just to drink and hang out.
it attracts that crowd that's
Yeah.
between like the 21 and like
30.
young 30s. So
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of helps with your marketing of who generally is willing to spend money when going
Yeah.
out and stuff.
Because like older people that are gonna go want to golf and drink are just gonna go to an actual golf course and bring some
Club.
beers
Or a club.
or a club.
Because
Yeah,
they pay for a club because they
Yeah.
are actually golf. So yeah, but that's definitely true.
I
Oh,
mean,
that would be kind of neat.
I've
That's
never been
definitely
into
a
that
neat
shit,
concept.
but
I'm not gonna.
the roller skating thing I think would be
That's a neat concept. I don't think I've ever actually heard of that.
Yeah.
And it's not like crazy, mind blowing, but
yeah, and you also have to do it in a location. I was telling her like that you're gonna attract enough people,
attract a younger crowd.
but
like,
you're
you have
not
to- yeah.
gonna but you're not gonna
demographics.
be in a place where people are gonna be too wild. You know what I'm saying? Because like where we live at now. We live in the nicer part of Baltimore. Obviously, you've been here, but it's not like you could do it here, but you just have to be pretty strict on how people acted. But like the problem is, if you go too far into Anne Arundel County, then you got just the people that don't do anything at night. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how many clubs is there in Anne Arundel County?
That's the only thing you
There's
think about
none.
it. Like,
There's like literally
in-
just a
in-
casino and a couple
in
bars.
Baltimore, though, the advantage of that is you could do like a lot of events around bigger events because they do have the stadiums there.
Yeah, dude, you could do like after the Ravens
could
games, do
do-
like Baltimore themed events, like Ravens themed events,
Rave
Orioles.
nights and shit, or like,
Yeah,
I
dude,
mean,
you could do a lot of shit.
and
in
people would go
Baltimore.
for that just for the sake of that. Yeah,
Just a bunch of fucking Ravens fans drunk as hell just want to come roller
Just-
skate and drink and shit and just.
celebrating like an after party kind of situation.
The problem is if we lose, if the Ravens lose, and then you got a bunch of pissed off Baltimore fans go to the roller skate rink to get super drunk
worse.
and just fucking
It's
shit
definitely a
up.
lot worse. It's definitely a lot worse.
But other than that, I mean,
That's-
shit, this week was pretty slow for me, honestly, bro. I mean, it was just a chill week, honestly, just kind of vibing, just cruising through the week. I'm ready to enjoy my long weekend. I'm gonna stream this weekend for sure. So if you happen to not be streaming or you pull me up, whatever, but anybody that listens to this before I'm streaming or is watching it now, I'm gonna try to start. Definitely, I'm gonna stream this weekend at some point. I'm gonna try to start streaming more regularly. Obviously, I stream Escape from Tarkov primarily, so it's definitely a game that not a lot of people are too familiar with, but
That's the best way to learn it.
you know.
Honestly, streaming, like watching streamers or video VODs and stuff.
But I have Kappa now, right? I think I told you already last week.
I don't remember.
But I'm a Kappa enjoyer now, so I'm like already way ahead of everybody else. It's pissed me off. Like I don't want to get too much into Tarkov news today, but it's just like a couple small things I might talk about real quick, just in case. So they changed a couple of like the harder tasks in the game. One it's called Grenadier, and the task is to kill. I want to say 12. It was either 12 or 15. I think it's 12 players with a grenade, which in Escape from Tarkov is not a super easy task. Like it's actually kind of difficult because grenades make a lot of noise when you throw them. They make a lot of noise when you pull the pin. Like when a grenade is getting thrown for the most part usually. And then the blast radius of grenades is not huge, so like it's really easy to be just outside of that or just around a pole or a corner enough to not be affected by that grenade. So, anyways, long story short is they made it really hard, and then they locked one of the best ammo types in the game. This wipe, they locked it behind that task. So they just dropped the kills from I believe it's 12 to 8. So now you only have to get 8 grenade kills, which I'm kind of blown about because I already did the when it was 12. I had to do it, and they just dropped it.
It always sucks when they nerf challenges like that. Dude.
Yeah, like right after I just did it again for like the 5th time, because I've got Kappa 4 times now, and the first time I did it, the wipe was too soon. I got to like 40 something, like high 40s, and then the wipe happened, so I didn't get Kappa my first wipe. But the other major thing they changed was it's a task called capturing outposts. And on this task, you have to kill, before you had to kill 15 players at 3 like primary locations, one on woods, one on customs, and one on shoreline. And it's a fucking hard task because you have to be in a very specific location. You have to kill 15 players, and most of those locations are not. It's not that players don't go there, but they're not the hottest spot on the map by any means. Not even close. So like, it's fucking like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be different if it was the hottest spot on the map.
Every time someone loads in, or not every single time, like there's a reset into that area, someone's gonna go there.
Yeah, that's not the first place I'm running on any of these maps. So that's like, that tells you enough. So that being said, it was a very hard task because that's 45 kills on 3 specific locations, total 45 kills that people aren't like going to every single raid a lot of times. And or if they do, a lot of times it's like end of the raid where they think that nobody's alive, and then they're just like, oh fuck it, let me go loot this shit too. So they dropped that from 15 on each location to 12 on each location, which isn't a huge drop, but that's like 9 less kills in total that you have to get. So like, it's a pretty good drop, you know what I mean? Like, that's probably like 9 kills for like a normal player. It's probably like 15, 20 raids realistically, especially in a specific location. It's like, that definitely was like another annoying one because I already have it done. So I had to sit there and do 15 kills on each one of these fucking locations and spend a shit ton of time in raids just to get them done. But I think it will kind of promote some of the people that are like, they get to like on the fence of wanting to push Kappa because some of those high level tasks are so hard. They don't want to do them, and then they're like, okay, like let's make them a little bit easier. And the thing is, I don't super enjoy that, but what I do like is that it will probably convince more people to play longer throughout the wipe and maybe try to push Kappa, which means that there's more players for me to kill.
They're gonna retake it anyways, so next time at least you'll be able to take advantage of it to an extent. Like, not that it's like, oh cool, easier, but at the same time it does make it.
I mean, I still get Kappa fast with those hard tests, but yeah, definitely makes it easier.
Next time you make it even quicker. So.
And hopefully there's only like 1 or 2 more wipes and before the game releases, because they've confirmed they're releasing Lighthouse, the last map, this year. So it'll be with the December, January wipe. Usually there's a wipe in Christmas, and then there's a wipe in like early part of the year. It's like early summer, like late spring. Yeah. Well, because usually it's like end of December and then like May. So it's like right at 6 months ish. Like, that's what it was this month. I think it was actually at the first week of June is when they reset it this time. But anyway, so yeah, it's like twice a year roughly. So they're saying that they're going to release Lighthouse at the end of the year, and then they'll have to do some testing, and then they're going to release the expansion, so the full map, then after the next wipe, and then that will be the last wipe supposedly, and then the game will release. So probably still going to be like over a full year before the full game releases, but at least they're like, the shit is getting done. Like, all the shit's getting released. Like, everything's coming out. They're releasing arena mode, so this year too. They're changing. Put a date on it? No, I assume it'll be with wipe too. Probably when they release Lighthouse, or like right around the same time they'll release both of those things, and that's gonna bring so many. Mark my words right now. When those things drop, Twitch numbers for Tarkov are gonna be off the charts. They're gonna be insane. Mark my words. When they release Arena especially, because there's a lot of people that don't play because they don't like the looter shooter survival games. But then they release the new map. New maps always bring a huge amount of people. Like when they released Lighthouse, they did it on a December wipe. So there was a wipe, there was a new map, and they were having the drops, and they were having a Christmas event with like Santa Claus and like special tasks and shit and Christmas trees and right. So they did all those at once, and Tarkov was like had like 300,000, 400,000 daily concurrent viewers for like fucking 3 weeks. Like it was insane. But all that is to say that I'm excited for. I mean, like I said, I'm chilling right now. I got Kappa for the next few months until they wipe again. And just playing to play, just playing to shit on people, and just make money in game and just have fun, and kind of honestly like Sherpa other people around, like my homeboys that are not high as level. And then Damien comes back tomorrow, so I'm gonna help him grind his shit to Kappa because he was right behind me. He's not too far away. He just has quite a bit of tasks to finish up, and then help him get to Kappa, and then we'll probably just vibe out.
It's been pretty quick actually, like him getting back, but.
He was actually supposed to come back, I think, next weekend, but something happened, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're confirming that you're coming back this week. You guys will have off, obviously. Like we'll come back for Labor Day weekend, but Roxanne is not going to be back until that weekend because they were expecting him to be there."
That's when they booked the flights. Yeah. Well, hey, at least that means you guys can play more.
I was actually thinking about. Actually, I didn't know what you were doing tomorrow or Sunday. I was like, thinking about driving down there with 8K. We'll talk about that later. That's not a big deal. But I was just saying, like, I'm thinking about just going down there for a little while. But yeah. I mean, Tarkov news for me. That's all about. I know about Tarkov right now. Fortnite. I played a couple games. I played the one game with you and Don Lich, however many nights ago that was, and like, I think we died to some dumb shit or something. I don't even remember what. Oh yeah, the dude fucking used the fucking Goku thing on the fucking car we were in, and fucking like down two of us.
Murdered everything.
Like, what the fuck? Like that? That's not overpowered at all.
I think it's left the game since. I think if I stand correct, I think it did.
I just saw people. I just saw somebody playing it yesterday and using it, so I don't know.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm not. Like, I want to finish up the battle pass, but I'm so close to it that I think I only have like 1 or 2 levels left, and I'm done. So, I'll probably just try to get on it sometime next week. I'm not worried about playing this week, honestly.
Yeah.
Or this weekend. I mean, I know you think you laugh at when I rest this, but Smite Night has 3 times worship or bishop tomorrow, so. I'm hoping that
as soon as you said you laugh at this, I already knew what you were gonna say, and then you still let the words come out of your mouth.
Or was gonna be because I'm still talking to the crowd. But
yeah,
I'm honestly keep getting more and more knocked out. So I'm just trying to. I don't know, getting every god tier 10 in the game is kind of like the cap, I guess, for Smite. No,
I mean,
that's getting
but
that's
I've
already done that. No.
Yeah.
I already do that every season, so. I'm just trying to get my gods all tier 10, so that way.
Wait, so do the god tiers reset?
No.
Oh,
that's
okay.
It's really great to get a master.
I was like, that's not really a Kappa thing if it doesn't.
It's a rank. Rank is getting top rank, I guess, does really matter.
Yeah.
No, I would say more for like it expresses your experience in the game though. If you have every god tier 10,
oh true,
you're obviously more in depth, especially since 5 different roles. And then like 120 gods. That means you've obviously put in a lot of time. So
yeah.
But no, in reality, yes, the ranked obviously grandmasters is really would be.
Bro, let me ask you a question for the podcast, right? Would you if you could get $10 million to survive 20 minutes with one of these animals, which one would you pick? A grizzly bear, an alligator, a gorilla, or a lion?
How
in
long
a
do I have
cage.
to last?
20 minutes in a cage. And they're all hungry.
An alligator.
Me too. That's a good choice. Do you know why that's so good?
Yeah, because they have strong jaws, but they also have the hardest time opening them.
Yeah.
So if you really want to survive, you have the highest chance of survival against
I'm
that.
actually mad that you know the exact reason to pick the right animal and why you picked the right animal. Because I wanted you to be like, no, I can take out the goddamn bear, boy.
Which is funny too, because this was not planned at all. But no, I mean, they've shown plenty of examples. As long as you lay on top of it and you just wrap your arms around the fucking jaws, they have so much power in closing them, but opening them. They don't have the same
alligator's
strength.
jaw is physically, humanly impossible to close, but it's also one of the easiest things to keep shut that you could possibly keep shut.
Yeah.
You could keep an
It's like
alligator's
100%.
mouth shut by doing this, like literally just by holding it like this, but you could not put in
Other
the
than like
strongest person in the world could not put enough force to close its jaw.
other than I think a hippo, right?
I think
It's
that
like
was actually the wrong one. It wasn't a lion, it was a hippo, my bad. It was a hippo, an
a
alligator, a
hippo's the
gorilla, and a
only other
bear.
one I think that has a more powerful jaw. Hippos are like god tier, dude, when it comes to their power.
Yeah, I
and jaw,
think
too.
I fucked up when I said lion. It was the hippo from the picture. It was a
Either way,
gorilla.
I'm not
No,
fucking
no, no,
doing
no,
it.
not a
You know,
hippo.
yeah,
No, no.
because
And then bitches,
there's like so many ways to die from a hippo.
somebody
dude.
could
People
fact
are-
check me, but them bitches weigh like a ton, like a literal
Yeah.
2,000 pounds. I'm pretty sure it could be less, but
They're literally just blobs.
yeah, like I'm not gonna try to fight that bitch. Like an alligator, like you said. So that there's the
Like, yeah,
two
like,
main reasons is one, if you zigzag, alligators are like slow to turn left and right, but they're really fast. But they can't just like snap to the left or right and be accurate. And then two, obviously, it's the closing the jaw thing. As long as you could just wrestle your way around that bitch and get on top of it, you fucking. I put my arms underneath that bitch's head and just pull up and just keep
Yeah,
it
I'm
shut.
not-
Boy, and he's
I'm not
fucked.
dumb. I know as soon as you said
Yeah, he's
bear and
fucked.
gorilla, I'm dead. Like there's
Yeah,
no
gorilla, dude.
There's no chance. Like I'm not superhuman. I
Gorilla,
know.
dude.
And I'm limitations. A gorilla's literally just gonna rip me apart.
Dude,
A bear's just gonna fucking eat me apart.
dude,
Like,
dude,
there's
dude.
no.
Have you ever seen gorillas, like videos of gorillas fighting? Bro,
No.
I'm sorry, but like, okay, we're both big dudes, right? Like, you're bigger than me, but like, we're both big dudes. Like, and I think like most normal sized humans wouldn't probably want to sit in a cage with us being feral for 20 minutes. Like, to be honest with you, like if we're just pissed the fuck off and hungry and like somebody's poking us with a fucking, like a fucking cattle prod, dude, and they throw like a normal sized human in a cage with me or you, like those people are probably going to be pissed that they ended up with a 6'2", 225 or a 6'4", 260, whatever you are, fucking dude. Like they're not going to have a fun time. Okay, like we're big dudes, right? And so
not a
in
fun
comparison, a gorilla, bro, it would like literally could just grab us by the head and just snap it off. Like,
Yeah.
like, oh, that was easy, dude. Like, I see
There's
this.
a reason, not that it was the best choice, but there is a reason that they shot Harambe.
Yeah,
Those are really
I
powerful.
mean,
fucking
rip, get fucked, but like,
Didn't deserve it. Don't get me wrong. Like we should have just sacrificed the mother. But it's a controversial topic, so
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
stay
yeah.
away from it. But honestly, though, it's like, no, the gator makes sense. I don't know. I guess I figured it was kind of a trick question when you were asking, like you were expecting me to say something stupid, but I was like,
it wasn't even a trick question. Is that I asked after I saw the post, I shared it, and then I was like, I saw people commenting like saying, "Dude, what the fuck is with my camera?"
I think he was doing it too. I think.
And
it's
then
just
like
Discord.
I saw
Mine-
people saying like stupid answers, like, "Dude, I could definitely just run away from a fucking grizzly bear for 20 minutes." Dude, do you know how fucking fast? First of all, you're in a
bears are
cage.
actually fuck when they go on all four. And that's all
Dude,
they're
they
gonna
are.
do.
Dude, they run like 40 miles an hour or some shit, bro. Like,
They're on all fours. And they're
dude,
like,
you're fucked. And they're like
Bears are-
1,500 pounds, bro. All they gotta do is swipe you one time, you're fucking dead. Your body's
swipe
cut in
left,
half.
you're dead.
A gorilla is literally like 900 to like 1,200 pounds of solid,
And you
literal solid muscle.
Depending how big the cage is, the gorilla could literally just jump from one side to the other. Like
Yeah.
that's your chances of survival. The lower body
And
strength.
if that bitch hits you in the
Okay,
body,
upper
your body's
body
gonna
strength.
collapse. Like
Yeah,
your rib
exactly.
cage is gonna collapse, like literally.
Yeah.
And then a fucking hippo is just a stupid, huge fucking animal. Not stupid, but like a stupid big animal. And it fucking has sharp ass, like stupid sharp ass fucking teeth, and they're fucking vicious. And when they bite, like you brought up earlier, they do not let go, like a fucking pit bull. And you're fucked. You're dead. Like you are dead if you get attacked by any of. I mean, if the alligator bites you, the only thing I would say about the alligator, like another reason why I think I have the best chance, even if he bites me, more than likely they're gonna bite a limb, right? And it's really hard to get out of that. Like you can poke in their nose or in their eyes and try to get them to release. But even if, like, kind of like with a shark, you can punch in the nose. But like, even if he doesn't release, if he takes part of my leg, dude, $10 million, you can have one of my legs. Just don't take my hands.
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
Yeah,
this is good. I don't know if we should say this, but fuck it. We're just talking about like stupid shit right now. Dude, if you had to pick one limb to get amputated, would it be, dude, it'd be a leg, 100%. Like, and I don't want to offend anybody that listens to this, probably not, but if there is anybody that would take offense to that, I'm not saying that I want my limbs to be amputated, and I don't think it's okay. But I'm just pointing out the fact that if I could choose and had to choose, and it was like you have to have one, it would be a leg 100%. I can get. It's literally they put like the fucking prosthetic legs are just a fucking leg. Like it's just like a leg, and it's just a fucking pole with like a foot at the end. Like if your fucking arm is gone, bro, you can't do shit with that arm ever again. They put a claw or a grabber, or you're a fucking billionaire.
Getting to the point where, yeah, as I say, technology has gotten to the point where actually we can do way more than it is. But yes, it's literally like $500,000, $250,000, $500,000 just to get one, and they wear out really badly.
Like
it's actually
if I
was talking about this the other day about the Boston bomber victims. Two of the ladies, they were talking about that, like how prosthetics are like super expensive, like leg prosthetics especially.
My thing would be that like I would be so blowed if I could just never put both of my hands on a big fat ass ever again. Like that would be the worst feeling ever. Like at that point I'm donezo, kid. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm out of here. I'll see y'all on the other side. I lived a long life.
I lived a good life.
No, but so the alligator thing, like even if they take a limb, like you're probably still gonna live. You know what I mean? Like an alligator, if they rip one of your legs off or even arms, they're gonna like go and they want to protect their food and they're gonna go eat it. Even if they're hungry, they're not gonna be as enraged as like a fucking grizzly bear or a gorilla or a hippo, dude. They're just gonna fucking maul you until you're completely dead. Where a fucking alligator's gonna grab on, spin around, rip it off, and then fucking take it and eat it. Like, fuck you, I hope you eat that, and I hope it takes you 20 minutes to eat my goddamn my leg. Because I don't got another one for you, brother. And even if they did take the leg, that would give you a chance to, like, hobble your fucking body going into shock over there and, like, just fucking push down on his fucking mouth while he's trying to chew on the food.
Plus, a gator, you do actually have the greatest chance of, if you can use the
cage
to climb, then you can climb up and get away from it. Versus, like, you're not going against a bear.
No, absolutely not.
Tall. It had to be really, really
gorilla
high.
is just going to jump and just grab your ass down. Hippo, you probably could. Hippo, you could. Because hippo, has no vertical.
No.
Yeah, hippo's a little.
I guess it depends on how far away it is away from you and how much time you have to climb at that point. Or if the cage is a flat cage where you literally can't climb it. You know,
what if you're not in a cage? Okay, but you're like, say you're in like a field or a desert, whichever one they would survive in the best. And like, I guess a field, but it's like a never ending field. Like it'd be impossible to run 20 minutes away and get away from them. So then you have nowhere to climb up.
Still do a gator.
Obviously, still the gator, but I'm saying like then you take out the climbing equation, dude. You're fucked. Super fucked.
And you're definitely going to get it because there's like most likely chance that you could survive without.
Just zigzag for 20 minutes.
Or not even a zigzag. If you zigzag and then jump on its back, gators are really fucking bad about that. Yeah, they don't know how to get off, and they don't want to. They can't. They don't like to roll because they can get stuck because they're fucking weird ass creatures.
Yeah, they are, dude. You ever thought about what a gator is? Just like a long ass salamander with like two little tiny ass legs and a fucking big ass mouth.
You just take the chances that it rolls over and it falls on its back, and then you just run off that point because then now you have a good start right there.
Dude, look, I'm not gonna lie. Like we're big dudes and everything. Like I'm a big dude, and I've been through a lot of bullshit and a lot of like hard shit in my life. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'd be scared no matter what. I'm man enough to admit I would be fucking afraid. Dude, I would be afraid, dude. I'm not one of those guys that goes and hunts to fucking try to wrestle alligators, brother. I'm not that guy.
You're not Florida man, brother.
You're not that guy, brother. You're really not that guy.
You're not the Florida man?
Yeah. You've never seen a news article that started with a Maryland man wrestles a fucking gator because they tried to eat his kid. But I guarantee you've seen a fucking article saying a Florida man has wrestled a fucking gator because it was eating his chickens. But you've never seen that about a Maryland man, ever. And you will not see that.
Florida men big build diff, that's for sure.
Dude, Florida people are built like I think like I don't hate to say this because I think it's true, but I think everyone that's ever been in Florida that was born and raised and lived in Florida did at least a little bit of bath salts. You know what I mean? Like I think they at least had to try it.
that way, but it's also not necessarily.
Yeah,
the
like
best
if
way.
you when you go to get a Florida driver's license, you have to just take a little bump of fucking bath salts, right? When you just get your picture taken, they're like before they take your picture, they make you get a little bump of bath salts, and then you're officially a Florida man.
All right, now go rescue some gators or something.
Yeah, they go wrestle a goddamn gator, motherfucker.
What did he say?
Go sell cocaine in Miami. Yeah, that's a fucking Florida man, brother. Gotta do a little bit of bath salts, and you gotta fucking wrestle a gator before you get your driver's license, or before you can purchase property.
What does it have to do with anything about driving?
Oh no, you
know
just
how
can't
to
purchase
wrestle a
property.
gator, and you can get them with the gator out of your way when you're driving. Makes sense. Louisiana, Mississippi have the same test? No, just us, Florida's. We don't like gator around here.
Mississippi, you just gotta fuck your cousin. Yeah, Alabama is the same rule.
There you go.
Yeah, all the rest of those other states are really the same, but Florida's the standout state. Florida's the standout state where at least you don't have to fuck your cousin, but you do have to do bath salts and fucking wrestle a gator if you want to buy property in Florida. Where everywhere else, just do a little fucking.
Yeah, it's I guess morals. I guess was you're interested.
Yeah. Don't be scared to use protection. Dude, I see this post, like, I don't know what it just made me think of it. When, like, it was like, what the fuck did it say? It was like her. Did you bring protection? It was like me. Pulls out my Glock. Yeah, of course I did.
I've seen them before.
Oh fuck.
Got protection? Of course I do.
What kind of stupid ass question is that?
Oh, I'm always trying.
I'm in West Baltimore, bitch. Of course I have protection.
Of course I'm strapped.
Yeah.
Just kind of curious, I guess. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones? I'm like, I don't know if you know.
I've watched every single episodes, but I haven't watched the new shit that just came out. So
I haven't started yet either, so
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm just curious. And then also, so you're gonna watch it though, right? You're
I
gonna watch
am, but I'm hesitant on it
Low
because, dude, every time they do this shit with the TV show, I feel like I always get let down. Like, I would rather the story just continue from where it left off. You know what I mean? My personal
Yeah.
opinion, I would rather the
And
story
actually
just keep going.
Did everything they wanted?
Yeah, like, dude, I wanted to see what the fuck happened. Like after it ended, like I wanted to see what was gonna be next. Like that was my thing, and then they canceled. I'm like, bro, or ended it. I guess they didn't cancel it. And I'm like, bro, that just like pissed me off. And then now they're like, oh yeah, we got a new Game of Thrones show, and it has absolutely nothing to do with what you watched fucking 10 seasons of, or however many, 7. I'm like, all right. So yeah, I will watch it, but I definitely have low expectations for what it is.
For this one, after they fucked over that.
Dude,
first
I saw a video on Facebook the night that it premiered on TV or wherever the fuck it premiered on. Somebody was taking a video outside of an apartment complex, and you could see like,
Oh, everybody's
dude,
yeah, the lighting.
dude,
was
you saw that
all-
shit, and like
yeah,
it was all
all
in sync, and
time.
even a couple of them had the windows open. You could hear. I'm like, what the fuck? We're like, everybody was watching that shit. Like
I mean, to be fair,
everybody.
That show took the world by storm. Like people loved that fucking show. That show,
Oh, yeah.
literally everyone everywhere was talking about it.
Yep.
And so I'm kind of hyped to get into like this.
Kinda like
series.
Breaking
I
Bad,
hope
too.
that They don't end it. Yeah. Well, yeah, Breaking Bad was on its own level too. and
Dude,
everyone is
Breaking Bad was the shit.
still on its own level. Honestly.
Did you ever watch
Still-
Better Call Saul? Speaking of that, that's a good example, by the way, what I'm talking about. Better Call Saul, you know, is just about his lawyer in Breaking Bad. I can't remember the actor's name right now. Dude's actually fucking funny as shit. But anyways, that dude, it's all about him, right? And it's like not bad, but it's like I would have rather them just continue the story of like that Breaking Bad was
Yeah,
already
versus
on.
on another thing. A lot of people like
Like,
that one though. And not everyone says BB's still way better.
It's not bad.
Everyone.
Better Call Saul is not a bad show. It's just like it's not good enough where I'm like excited to watch it. I just kind of just watch it as I see it. Yeah.
To keep like content, to keep like revenue and stuff, but they didn't actually give you like
Yeah.
What about the new Lord of the Rings series that Amazon Prime's doing?
Probably
I've
won't
seen
watch
that
it.
Oh, you won't watch it, or you just don't care?
I
to watch
did
it?
see about it, but I probably won't watch it. Okay. I'm gonna have to be
I'm
really
just-
bored one day after it's all came out. Huh?
Why don't you want to watch it though? Because I've heard like they paid a lot of fucking money into this show. Like it's supposed to be like
I was never a huge fan of Lord of the Rings in the first place. And I've watched them all, and I actually enjoyed them. But again, it's one of those things where I'm just like, like I'll watch it when I have some time, when I have some extra time. But like, I'm not
Yeah.
pressed to watch
I
it.
guess you're like
I'll
every
watch it
week.
when I
Sure.
get around to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
whenever the fuck I got a bunch of free time and I know I'm not gonna be doing shit, and I can pull it up on my phone and just watch that shit, and like I'll do it. But it's not gonna be. I'm not gonna be like glued to the TV, fucking, for a fucking
every week.
6 hours straight watching it, like I will with some
Well,
shows.
fine,
Like,
because they're releasing it weekly. But yeah.
and I'm sure you already know, but they, since we're on the topic of TV shows, they, what season? Not season, episode 3 or 4 already of She-Hulk was out. So my thing was, I haven't actually started watching it yet.
Any of them?
But I'm going to for sure. You know how I am about Marvel shit, so I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it all the way through, just like I did with Kamala Khan.
I'll let you do your thing.
But
You know,
I have heard of a lot of things about it that are already kind of giving me like a pretty negative view about it. So I'm trying to stop looking at shit that's gonna give me that ahead of time negative view, and I'm gonna wait for it to come all the way out at once, and then I'm just gonna binge watch it and then make a decision on how I feel about it. But I did hear a lot of negative things that I'm not gonna repeat. Again, I'll wait till I get my own opinion before I just blindly repeat something that other people are saying.
yeah, I have no opinion on it, but I also just have no aspirations to watch it. I just don't really care. Like it's
The
kinda like
idea of
that.
She-Hulk being in the MCU in my mind
Oh,
as like a Marvel fanboy is fucking dope. But then like
But the way they're doing
the
it, is very,
way I don't know. Again, let's not like jump to conclusions because neither one of us has watched any of it. But from what I've heard and the samples that I've seen off of watching other people talk about it, like YouTube videos, is like, okay, I already know what they're doing with this. Kind of what we talked about back before with Kamala Khan, and I'm like, I wish they would stop doing that. But again, until I watch it, would rather just leave it at that. And then I'll watch it as soon as it's all out, and we'll come back to it, and I'll put my piece on the podcast how I feel about it.
that's right.
There is what Marvel movie is coming out at the end of this year though? Let me look it up real quick. I'm pretty I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that there is
I just think I haven't been following stuff like that too much lately.
there is a Marvel movie I believe coming out. Oh, Wakanda Forever, November 11th. That I'm most definitely 1000% gonna watch. Definitely gonna watch
That's
that.
Friday, right? Oh, we should just watch it on release day or release
That's
weekend. At least.
Veterans Day.
Yeah, it's not a Friday. It's a Monday.
Either way, we can go watch it on release day if you want.
Oh, no, it is a Friday.
I don't know what day it is, but I know that it's on Veterans Day, so you should be off. I will definitely be off.
Yeah, it's a Friday because Monday following I might be taking off. Yeah.
My job automatically, if you're a veteran, you automatically get off on Veterans Day.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, which I mean, I would just not work anyways because of how my job works. But like, I'm not even expected to do anything.
Even still, though, that is cool.
Yeah.
They do that. Though.
Yeah.
Just as a company policy, that's just cool.
Yeah, we should go the release date if you want. We'll get tickets ahead of time and everything. See if Juliana wants to go.
That is definitely one we're gonna have to buy like at least a week or two ahead. No doubt.
1000%. I'm gonna buy it as soon as I see pre-sales. I'll just go ahead and buy them ahead of time, and then you guys can we'll figure it out. But we should definitely watch that one.
As long as we go like 8 or later though, because she works till 7 sometimes. So that's the only thing.
It's all good. But yeah, I'm excited about that. First of all, they're putting Namor in there, which is sick. He's like the king of Atlantis, basically, like in the Marvel comics. And I want to see what they did with T'Challa. Obviously the actor. I'm blanking out, and I feel like a piece of shit right now. But he passed away.
Yeah.
Dude, I need to find his name now because I feel like a real piece of shit. Chadwick Boseman. Jesus Christ. I knew what it was too. Chadwick Boseman passed away. So I already know that they're doing, because I watched the previews, obviously. I didn't know that it'll start out some kind of like funeral kind of thing and like them mourning his death and all that. And then apparently I assume that somebody's going to take over the role of Black Panther. If I had to guess, I would say it's his sister. I think it's going to be Shuri. But
was sister.
We'll see. But I'm definitely excited for Black Panther too. Definitely excited for that. because I just really want there to be like I need another good Marvel movie because Thor wasn't bad, but it was like
You never watched that one, so I
it's
was just kind
just
of waiting for it to
not.
come into Plus now.
Yeah, it's just not, dude. It's
Subscription.
like I don't know how to explain it. It's not that it's bad. I just feel like it's just too like light. Like, and it's not that that's a bad thing, but I feel like they were trying too hard to like do Ragnarok
Make
2,
it more comedy. Yeah, that's what a lot
and
of
like
people are
it
saying.
wasn't that good. It just wasn't that good. I don't know. It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't that good. It was just like, oh, okay, cool. Marvel movie,
I'll
more
probably have a
story,
bias
Christian
because I really
Bale.
like
All right, cool.
them.
Like, I don't know. I could have lived without it. That's all I'm saying. Like, it wasn't like that I hate it. It's not that I don't like it. I just could have not had that movie, and I would have felt the same way I feel about the MCU as it is right now. But I'm definitely excited for Black Panther, and then next year there's a bunch of movies and shows coming out too. So,
Yeah, they've announced the next phase is pretty huge.
for like the next, I think like 3 years or 4 years of some shit, they already have a plan of everything that's being released. So it's
I
like
don't know,
a
I
lot of
mean,
shit.
they're calling the MCU like in phases though, so I mean not by year.
Oh well, yeah, yeah.
Like
Only through Phase 6.
yeah, they're showing the releases by phase, not by year. Is what I meant to say, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's nothing else really like TV movie wise coming out that's like interested in me. Although I should say this, I haven't actually watched it yet, but I feel like you may have. I don't know. I don't know if you watch horror movies, but did you know Winnie the Pooh is making a or not Winnie the Pooh, but because the rights are now public domain, they're making it's like the honey. What is it called?
I don't remember, but I know. And dude, there's
They're making
mad
a
people
horror
about it.
film,
Yeah,
and apparently they've already released the
there's already a trailer out for it.
They released a trailer I think this week, so I haven't watched it yet.
Yep, I saw it. I saw it when they were first talking about it. Blood and Honey. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is what it's called.
Blood and Honey, yeah. So I've heard it. I've heard like the preview is really, or the whatever a preview, I guess, is actually like really interesting. Like this
Dude,
seems like they're doing really good,
there's people I saw like
you know
people like
who's
literally protesting it. Like there's people that are so mad about like, oh, they're gonna ruin my like a childhood legend thing for us adults, and we'll never like we
my
can't
only
just.
thing
I'm
is
like,
like
dude, we're adults. Like I would prefer that if you're gonna bring up shit from my childhood, that it be something that's geared towards adults. Like I
I
don't want
am
soft
curious
porn.
how like
If it's Winnie the Pooh, I'd rather have a horror movie. Like
I
straight
am
up.
curious how like dog shit it is though, for the sake of like, are they just doing it for the memes because they know people will pay just to watch the meme? You know what I mean?
Probably,
'Cause
but
even
I'm
if
still
you-
gonna watch it.
If you look at him, he looks like a fucking joke itself. Like just the cover itself looks like
Yeah, he
stupid.
looks like a fucking. He looks like like one of the fucking what are the pigs' names from Ninja Turtles? He looks like. Um. Yeah, how can Winnie the Pooh be made a killer in Blood and Honey? The public domain explained.
They just got like a bunch of nobodies and stuff for it too.
Yeah.
Like
The horror
Like-
film features a deranged version of the honey and hug loving Pooh Bear, along with his best friend Piglet. The very much alive stuffed animals depicted in Author A. Blah 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 blah. Only in Blood and Honey, Pooh is silent, wielding knives and chloroform, while angrily seeking revenge against his one-time human BFF Christopher Robin, and some random woman in a hot tub. This being a cheesy slasher film, after all. How is it even possible that this is happening with a silly old bear who famously said a hug is always the right size? And will Disney, which acquired the rights to Pooh characters back in 1961, be out for blood? Dude, like, Pooh he literally looks like the fucking, the fucking pigs from Ninja Turtles.
it's kind of dumb though that like the public domain thing is a thing for stuff like this. I still never have been able to really.
I mean, it's been fucking 60 years.
I get that, but it's still someone's own creation. So why would it become public domain? That's like I don't know. Like I guess in my opinion, that's like okay. So somebody built a business, and then like in 60 years, that business should be able to be owned by anybody. That's the same thing. Somebody built this product, this character, this storyline. It's their creation. So why is it public? You know what I mean? I get that it's physical and what it's. This isn't obviously like a physical ownership, but just seems like that's kind of.
Honestly, I think it's hilarious. I have no problem with it. I think it's funny that they're gonna make a cheesy slasher film out of it. I think it's gonna. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
If it's
And
gonna become public domain, this is the stuff that should come out of it. Stuff that's not gonna like actually, like be just copycats of what existed. It
That's
should
what
be
I'm
something
saying.
that clearly
Yeah, that's
has
what I'm
no
saying.
sense into what the fuck it is. Like,
Like
doesn't
if
make
that's what
sense.
I'm saying. Like now as an adult, we're the age of people that were watching this as kids, and a lot of people before us too. But it's everyone that was watching that as kids is definitely adults by now. You know what I mean? And like if they're gonna re-release something Winnie the Pooh related, you might as well release it to people that actually watched it growing up and geared towards adults.
That's true.
Another horror movie to get off the track of that because I don't care that much about Winnie the Pooh. I just saying I'm gonna watch it. But did you ever see the movie Orphan? I don't know how many horror movies you watch or if you watch any.
No, I don't really
I like
care
horror
for it.
movies, but like there's a movie called Orphan, right? And it's based on kind of a true story, right? So it's based on this like Russian girl. It's actually a lady. She's like 30 something, but this is like actually happened in real life too. Not like what exactly happens in the movie, but there's like that has like some kind of like mutation to her body that she's not necessarily like a little person, but she doesn't age. That's the problem. Well, she is a little bit like she's short, but like her body has like a weird mutation where like she doesn't age. Like she literally looks like a 9-year-old girl, and she's literally like 30 something. This happened in real life. Like a family in Indiana,
That doesn't surprise me.
like
Yeah, that-
adopted this 30-year-old Russian woman, and then the lady tried to kill them.
yeah, they thought she was a kid, but
Yeah.
I'm actually okay. I know. I actually heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they made the movie's called Orphan. Well, they just released recently the second one called Orphan First Kill, and it was like more about like her origin, like in that universe or whatever. And it was actually pretty good. It wasn't super scary. Like I don't think it's more. It is a horror movie, but it's kind of more of a thriller in my opinion. But like,
Yeah.
it's a good movie, low key. Like if you like horror movies, and especially if you like the first Orphan, which was a good movie. But yeah. Other than that, though, I can't think of much. Dude, I just watch YouTube. I just watch fucking YouTube all day. Not all day, but like when
Maybe
when I'm
just
watching
started-
something, I watch YouTube.
Maybe just don't interest me too though, because I'm just so used to being able to just stream stuff, and like to go pay like $12 to like $20 to go watch a movie like is just not like personally care. Although I think one of the big movie theaters.
No, it was on. No, I watched Orphan on Prime. Orphan,
Yeah.
so-
Okay, well then there's that kind of stuff that
I
doesn't.
don't really go to the theaters that often either, bro.
One of the big movie theater chains this weekend. I think Saturday they're doing like $3 movies, and I do not remember who it is or what it is, but I think it's like across the nation.
My face is here, dude. There we go.
But yeah, I don't know.
You said $3 movies on Saturday. I heard they got $4 hookers
But-
on Sundays.
I question if it's because there's literally no movies out, and it's just like a way to get people to come. I'll spend $3 and go watch some random movie. Because
The problem is if it's random, it's still not worth me paying $3 to go to.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking of it. Some people are gonna be like, "Hey, we could go on a date night and go get a,"
And then I gotta watch fucking 1968 like thriller movie that like they were using literal puppets and shit for
National
the
Cinema
monster.
Day. So that's what it is.
Let me grab a Red Bull.
Yeah, grab a bowl of the redness. Any movie, any format, all day. Tell your friends. Oh, okay. So it's not only actually one of the chains. It's 3 different chains. So I guess it's actually not one chain. It's all of them. So Cinemark, AMC, and Regal are all doing it for National Cinema.
They had like a pack. Do you know like the meme where like the dude?
Someone probably did it, and then the other two were like, "Look."
Like the meme with the guys with the hands, like the
Oh, yeah,
picture. So they made like a pack.
$3 movies.
$3
movies. Like that's kind of a weird thing to do. Yeah, but like there's literally nothing good in theater. Like I literally just searched up movies in theaters, and then I'm on Fandango. Movies not playing.
When does the Emmett
Never
Till
heard
movie
of-
come out?
Never heard of any of these. When does what come out?
The Emmett Till movie?
I don't know if you're memeing. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
You don't know who Emmett Till is? You should.
Maybe I do. I don't know a lot of famous people by name. I'm not good about that.
It's not a famous. Well, it's kind of famous. It's the kid that the white lady down in whatever state it was claimed that he tried to like have sex with her or like catcall her, and she was afraid for her life, and then he got lynched. Yeah, it's a very famous story about very dark racism in the Jim Crow era, not that long ago. Emmett
Yeah, but
Till.
it's called Emmett Till.
The movie's called Till, his last name, but the
Till. Okay.
the boy's name was Emmett Till. And if you, other than what I just told you, you should actually
It
read about that.
on. I don't
It's
see it coming up, but I also don't see it in the current plane.
it's definitely they're
Oh, I
definitely
said this is just opening this week and playing now, so that's probably why. But I don't see it
till
in that.
2022. Let me go check.
Like literally, the only reason I would go right now is actually because Minion: The Rise of Gru is still playing in some theaters, and the Thor: Love and Thunder is still playing in some theaters, and so I could just go pay $3 and go watch one of those just to go out. But just to go out really doesn't work. So I already got plans this weekend. But for anybody else who wants to go watch a movie for $3, you can go watch one of those two, or a lot of other shit movies. Looks
Maybe
like.
Till is already out. No, October 14th. Okay, that's yeah. I was about to say I don't think that's out because I would have went and watched it already. Yeah. You don't have to do it right now, but you should definitely read about who Emmett Till is. Do a little, just like a little while of just trying to read that story because it's heartbreaking and fucked up. And when I went to the few months ago, I went to the African American Museum in D.C., the Smithsonian,
Oh,
the new one.
it's
And
about her.
huh?
So it's like a perspective from his mother, actually. Says the film tells the real life story of Mamie Till Mobley, an American educator and activist who pursued justice after the lynching of her 14-year-old son.
Yeah, I didn't know about the perspective of who it was from, but I know it's about Emmett Till. But so I went down to the African American Museum in D.C. However many months ago it was, and we went there and they had the Emmett Till like display or whatever, but like it was like blocked off, and you had to like look at, like it was like a whole sign talking about like the very graphic nature of like the display, and it was there for historical purposes, but like you had to go like around a corner and then around another corner into like a dark hallway just to go to like where like it's a fucked up shit that happened to him. And the line was long as fuck, like everybody was trying to go see that shit because it's like a newer thing, I think. But yeah, it's a fucked up story. Like what happened to him is really 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 bad. So I mean, but like bad shit was happening like that, like all over the place for a very long time in America. But like, that's definitely one of the stories that like sticks out. And then the lady is like still alive from that. Like she's not even that old. They found her house. Like people were going there and like seeing her, and like she's just walking around and fucking shit and like out in public. Like the lady that actually got him lynched, and then like some court system was trying to get her tried. Like now she's in her like probably 70s or 80s. They're trying to get her tried and like send to prison, but I don't think it happened. I actually don't remember her name right now.
Probably Carolyn Bryant from looking at the cast. But I could be completely wrong.
That sounds right.
And it would literally, like when I tried to click the hyperlink.
It's definitely Carolyn Bryant.
Yeah.
Group grand jury declines to indict. Yep, Carolyn Bryant in Emmett Till lynching case 3 weeks ago. Like this is recent. She said in a memoir that she wrote, she denies wanting the teen killed, which I don't know why they would title it like that. They should say his name because he's a kid. Yeah. Yeah, Carolyn Bryant, the daughter of a plantation manager and a nurse from Indianola, Mississippi. $1955 is when this happened. This happened in 1955, dude, and it was happening after this too. Like, can you imagine? Like, I mean, I know you can, but like, just think about it for a second. Like, how in America, right? I mean, okay, let me preface this by saying that slavery
saddest part is
and fucked up
the
shit still
fact
happens all over the world to
that
this
he was
day.
still 14. He was only 14
Yeah,
years
he was a kid. He was a child. But let me preface what I'm about to say by saying that there's plenty of fucked up shit that happens in the world to this day and has been for all of humanity. But to think about the fact that in 1955 and even after that, there was literally black people being lynched for trying to talk to a white woman. There was still segregation. You still couldn't use the bathrooms as white people in the 50s. You couldn't go to the same schools. You couldn't use the same water fountain. That's not that long ago. Our grandfather was born. There was still segregation. He was a teenager when there was segregation in Jim Crow. He was a fucking teenager. Our father was not that far behind segregation. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, there where our family's from, that's not really the type of shit that they were into. But the point is that like that still existed in America while our father was fucking being born. Right before he was born, Jim Crow was just like still a thing. Like, that's insane to think about. Like, really. It's fucking, like, it's crazy to think, like, there's still, like, racial issues in America, but, like, to the extent of what it was 70 years ago, 60 years ago, is crazy, like, how fucked up it was 60 years ago in a country like what we live in right now, where, like, tolerance is the only thing that fucking the media and people care about.
I don't even know if this is completely accurate, but he even said that actually, like, the year after, they literally were interviewed and admitted to it.
Yeah. They admitted
And
to
then
it.
they ended up getting paid for the story.
Yep. And none of them ever got indicted or tried or imprisoned or anything. They admitted to it. They said that it was something, I don't mark me word for word, but something about he was a threat to her life, so they killed him. And again, this was during Jim Crow, so like it was easy to get away with killing a black person back then in the South, at least. Like, there was racism everywhere, but like you weren't gonna fucking hang a dude in Baltimore or DC and get away with it. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't gonna happen. Or New York in the 50s and 60s, but in the South, they were still doing that shit past the 50s and 60s. There's still Klan groups all over the southern United States.
Oh, yeah.
Like, straight up hood wearing, cross burning Klan groups. That's insane. That's fucking insane. That's crazy as fuck. That's fucking crazy. But yeah, Emmett Till, that story is a really sad story. I'm definitely going to watch that. I said October. What does it say? October 14th, I think.
That's gonna be an emotional roller coaster.
Yep. I think me and old Mommy V-Bucks are gonna go see that when it comes out. Yeah. You know what else is crazy to think about, to get on like a little bit of a lighter subject? Like, I don't know if you ever sit here and think about this, but do you ever just think about how far technology has come in like the short period of time it's come? Like, okay, maybe not 100 years ago, 1920s. I say mid 1800s, right? 150 years ago, 160, 70 years ago, less than 200 years ago, there was no even remotely close technology to what we have now. None, dude. Like, if you pulled up in a fucking Hyundai Sonata in the mid 1800s, you would look like a literal fucking alien from outer space with a fucking spaceship in a fucking Sonata. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like a phone, like this device, dude. If you brought this to the mid 1800s, do you know how insane? And that's not that long ago, bro.
They burn you on the stake.
Yeah, probably. They'd probably kill you. But my thing is, like, can you imagine how old the Earth is? Like, however many civilizations there's been through in the Earth, and in the last 150 to 200 years, technology has just went from like literally zero technology, literally zero, other than primitive like tools and fucking levers and pulleys and shit technology, to full blown like AI. Like, there's fucking AI. People figured out how to live on Mars and fly to Mars. There's literal robots on Mars right now that we put there. There's people that live in space. There's fucking computer chips that you can put in your body to make your body better. There's fucking literal mechanical body parts that you can get attached to yourself when you lose one. There's literally a palm-sized device that holds. Even if you think about from like the 60s and 70s, like when the first computers were being made, I know but like they were like literally the size of a large room was a single computer, and it had almost zero computing power. Like those computers were like a modern like high school calculator level of power, like legitimately. And now we have a literal supercomputer in our hands with insane cameras and calling and FaceTiming and fucking sending money and fucking social media and instantly talking to whoever you want to, whenever you want to. And it can hold a ton of fucking data and memory on here. And it's this big. And it costs $1,200, $1,000. Dude, you know how expensive that first computer was? I'm not sure, but I guarantee you it was a fucking expensive piece of equipment.
Well, especially in comparison to like iPhones, obviously.
Yeah, I'm saying like with inflation. Yeah, it would be insane to build that now. Like, but the fact that in 150 years, but technology obviously grows, but like in 150 years out of the thousands and thousands of years that people have lived on this earth, in 150 of those, we've went from basically zero technology to basically maxing out the amount of technology that we can possibly do, which is creating fake intelligence. Literal artificial intelligence. There's artificial intelligence that is out there right now that does things every day for people. There's people that have them for their companies. There's people that have them as companions. There's people that have them fucking learning how to drive things. There's automated driving vehicles. Weapons are very soon. My thing about artificial intelligence is that the last step is that they're going to be weaponized. That's what artificial intelligence is. It's going to be weaponized. And I don't mean in like a Terminator fucking Skynet type of way, possibly. But I mean like in a way that like if my AI is better than Russia's AI or China's AI, then who's going to win? Like that type of like a war.
To the point where it becomes kind of because it realizes that its only purpose is to balance the world. And in order to balance the world, we must erase the world. So
it might, but like, we'll all be slaves to this guy. But my thing is that like at the end of the day, like it's insane. Like every time I think about how insane it is, how fucking 150, it could be like you could be the third generation of your family and still have people in like the third three back and like people that had kids later, right? And those people didn't even know what a car was when they were born. Like that's how long, like that's how fast technology has fucking advanced. And there's this, people have been on this planet for thousands of fucking years and didn't even know how to fucking make fire. Didn't even have zero understanding of medical capabilities or your teeth or how to like really give birth or fucking like, other than just push it out like an animal. You know what I mean? Like, and it's fucking insane. Like it's literally insane. And then if there's aliens out there, imagine, I don't think I think that there is aliens. I think we've talked about this before. I legitimately do. I think the universe is way too big for there not to be other living species. When I say aliens, I don't mean like 40-pound, creatures that are 3 foot tall with a big ass head and like, and I don't mean that. I mean like a living organism. There's living organisms of some kind somewhere out there. Like the universe is way too fucking big. It's way too fucking big for there not to be living organisms.
No, I just fucking around.
I was like, wait, what? There's literally billions of other planets that are exactly like ours. Like, there's no way. But like, have you ever? I know you don't really. You probably don't agree with me on this because I know we've talked about it a little bit before. But if there's things coming to Earth or that have been to Earth before from extraterrestrial planets or whatever, do you know how fucking far advanced they would have to be over us to make that? Because we can't do that. We're not even close to doing that technically.
At least 40 years.
Sure, yeah. They're far ahead of us, like technologically. And like people, like I don't know how much I like believe in like real UFO sightings and like, oh, there's aliens that live among us. Like,
confident.
Did you see that? There's the
Mark Zuckerberg is a lizard alien.
Look this up for me real quick. But there was a Canadian politician. Just type in like Canadian politician that said that there's claim that there's aliens in the U.S. government, like an actual like a high level politician too, like not prime minister, but like defense minister, something. There's like, dude, if you'll find it. There's a dude like,
I'm a defense minister. Claims the aliens.
yeah. What side is that from? Vice.
Vice. Yeah.
Yeah, I read that article, and that's like Vice isn't like whatever, but Vice they report real news, like they're actual news company. They literally talked to this dude to have a recording of the former defense minister of fucking Canada saying that there's aliens that are in the U.S. and that there's in the government. They have like a weird name for them too. I don't remember what it is, but you'll probably if you read through it, you'll see. Dude, like, and I know that sounds insane. You're like, oh, that's fucking crazy. There's no fucking way. But
There
like,
are at least 4 types of alien species, and they have been visiting Earth for thousands of years.
but like, did you ever think about the fact that the Pentagon literally released statements saying that they have vehicles, they have crafts that are not of this world, quote unquote. Humans did not make them. You know that, right? The Pentagon, the strongest force in the world. The United States government.
One of them is called the Tall Whites.
The Tall Whites, that's the name. I was thinking it was like a funny name.
Racist.
Dude, the Tall Whites, dude. The Tall Whites are fucking, if me and you were definitely aliens, dude. The Tall Whites. Gotta be. Gotta be aliens, dude.
At that point, we're just in a simulation, though, because if no one can actually bring evidence to the table on this stuff, then we're all just controlled by...
The U.S. government, the people that you work for, the people that I used to work for, released evidence about aliens and UFOs, right? You know that, right? Like, this isn't made up. Like, I didn't just say this. Like, the U.S. government, the fucking Pentagon, released official report saying we have craft that humans did not make that came to Earth way back however many years ago. You know that, right? I'm not just making... Look it up. Dude, the Pentagon. This isn't like some dude on fucking CNN was like, dude, I saw an alien spaceship. Dude, it fucking flew over the sky. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm smoking a bunch of shrooms. This is the government. The fucking Pentagon released the actual fucking statement saying there's fucking...
They live to be 800 years old.
Dude, look at... Hold on, let me look
As
it
tall
up.
as 10 feet.
Dude, let me... Dude, the fucking Pentagon. Pentagon... statements about alien crafts. Let's just say that. They say like not of this world is like what the actual shit says. Like the actual statements is not of this world.
Yo, that's gnarly. That's totally out of this world.
Yeah. Pentagon officials testify at first public UFO hearing. They quote them as UAPs, because they changed them from UFOs. They're unidentified aerial phenomena. And pilots and military service members and government officials have reported a confirmed over 400 events.
The Vice article ends with, personally, I'd prefer to believe that the super Scandinavian aliens are real. Okay, guys.
Yeah, no. So here's my thing. That one obviously is a little bit more like funny to me, but the fact that the defense minister of Canada is saying that shit is like kind of crazy because he said it right around the time that the actual U.S. government had hearings and released documents confirming that there's crafts that we don't make, right? So then people would go, oh well, they're only saying that because they don't want to say that our government actually did in fact make those crafts because they're secretive about it or whatever, right? If that's the case, why the fuck would they release anything about it at all? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why would they you just wouldn't speak on it? If they're so secretive that you don't want anybody knowing that you built them, you wouldn't fucking come out and say, yeah, we captured them and they're not made by humans. Like, bro, come on. They confirmed over 400. Today we know better. UAPs are true and are real. They need to be investigated, and any threats they pose need to be mitigated. This is the Director of National Intelligence. The Director of National Intelligence for the U.S. government said that in a Congress hearing. You know that, right? Like, this is not some bullshit that, like, people are just making up. And it gets swept under the rug, like, when all this was happening because it was, like, right at the height of COVID and everything. And I don't know if you know this. So, in the COVID, like, the financial plan, what was it called? When they were giving everybody the checks, there was, like, a name of the fucking plan, what happened that Biden did.
You do realize that
Trump started it.
doesn't mean that it's...
I realize it doesn't mean it's
alien related. It just
no, no,
means
no,
that
no.
they haven't been able to identify what it is.
I
That's
understand
literally
that,
all that means.
but there's the documents from the
Layers.
Pentagon that say that we have crafts that were not made by humans, that were impossible to be made by humans. They were not made by humans. They're not human technology. We don't understand what they are or what they do. That's not. Dude, Japan didn't make a fucking saucer that flies around off of using magnets, okay? Like, I'm sorry. That's big enough to hold fucking small people in it. Although Asians
Well, they're apparently up to 10 feet
are
tall.
smarter than us, but
Scandinavian.
all right, but so listen. So my thing is, right?
Scandinavians.
If I don't know if you know this, but whatever the fucking the thing was,
Wait,
I can't remember the
I'm gonna
name.
spike my hair up like real crazy real quick, and then I'll come back. I feel like I'm not in the right outfit for this. Look,
Dude, listen.
I'm gonna put on another
Listen. So
Like,
the
yeah.
dude, so they
Actually, you know
fuck,
what? I'm
now-
gonna go on Amazon real quick and buy an alien shirt, so that
No.
way next week I'll be well equipped.
Area 51. I'm gonna buy an Area 51 hat,
Cat, like a cat,
dude.
and I'll wear a button-up alien shirt.
Dude,
Go ahead.
they and for the COVID, the financial plan, whatever it was called, right? And they were trying to pass it fast because they wanted to give people money. I don't know if you know this. So they were basically just telling a bunch of people, "Yeah, we'll let you do that. Yeah, we'll let you do that." Like they were approving a bunch of shit from Congress members. And literally, the reason why the Pentagon released this information is because one of the fucking Congress members literally snuck it in there that that they had to release all of the information about quote unquote UFOs that they had, or UAPs that the U.S. government had. And then when they went through and then they were
Just
obligated legally to do it, and then they just fucking did it. Like, dude,
Well, it was written down and no one actually read it, so kind of have
dude,
to do it.
you think it's bullshit, but come on, bro. Like, there's no way, bro.
I don't think it's bullshit. I'm also very evidence based, so just to say that it is like too much for me to actually just straight up agree with. But let's
you're
see.
telling me that the fucking Pentagon, the national,
This one's good. This is my human costume. I'm really an alien. That's a good shoe shirt for this. Ooh. What the fuck is this? This will work.
the Defense for Intelligence and Security Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security released a statement saying we have crafts that are not explainable or made by humans. That's what they said. What do you
think what they're
what the
trying to-
fuck is that, bro?
No. I think
What the fuck do we not understand? We know what a fuck, dude. We know what a plane is, dude.
We have
We know what-
identified dolphins are second to human as the most intelligent life beings on Earth. So maybe dolphins have a secret underwater Atlantis where they are crafting spaceships and flying. Like this is about the same.
I know
logic.
you're trying
I'm
to.
not gonna go with
I know
it.
you're trying to
Um,
like just make it
And
funny, and I get
dolphins
it.
are the aliens.
But
No,
you
it's
do
like legit.
realize-
You're not taking
Okay,
consideration. the
so
dolphins
so
could
let
be
me say
aliens.
this: how much do you trust the people that you work for, the government?
I don't trust anybody.
I mean, me
Very
neither.
few
But I
people
mean,
exist in the world.
okay, I don't mean like
think
a.
about it.
I don't mean on like a personal trust level. I mean like the U.S.
yeah.
government. Do you trust the U.S. government enough to not release statements for decades and decades and decades and decades that then come out and say, actually, we do have crafts that were
won't
not
trust
made by
this until
humans?
They let me go to Area 51.
Oh, okay, so,
I
dude,
won't trust this until
dude,
they let me.
the
Once they let me go to
Office
Area
of the
51,
Secretary of
I won't.
Defense for Intelligence and Security. This isn't like fucking dude Joe Rogan saying this. This is the Office of the Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and
I could get
Secretary
political in this, but I'm
and Security. Dude,
not. Look
what?
at the administration that it was under,
Trump.
and look at the credentials of the people that he put in his administration.
Trump?
Yeah. He picked some very questionable people in very questionable
Dude,
positions.
dude,
Doesn't mean that means that they're like to be completely trusted with. He put people in positions that should not have ever been
okay.
in position.
I don't disagree with you in a lot of things, but to
I
say
don't even know who that name is. I don't even know what that credible resource of it would be if that person even has one. Are they military? Are they? Is it a civilian?
Christopher Mellon, former. This is a different
What?
person. Gillibrand. Gillibrand
What
will
his name
be,
does.
but they're worried about being watered down before final passage and will be buried by the Pentagon.
Bro just looks like a guy you wouldn't even want to talk to.
I mean, he literally. I don't know if he was the one that made that actual statement, but that's what it seems like from this
That's not
CBS News article.
my God.
I don't. My thing is the fact that the government's even allowing Pentagon officials to say shit like that is pretty strange. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand.
No, Kirsten, not Christopher.
That's not what I said.
Kirsten Gillibrand?
Kirsten Gillibrand of New York, senator. Yeah. Who spearheaded the bipartisan measure. Was one of the people talking about it. And then there was CIA director, some guy named Christopher Mellon and Luis Elizondo from the Secretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security Office. And then some doctor named Stephen Greer who works under a civilian Pentagon office researching fucking UFOs or UAPs. So I don't know. There's several people that are working in the government, in the United States government, like multiple that are, and these are the people that are talking about it in a fucking Congress hearing. This is not like all the people that would say something. These are fucking in a Congress hearing out of the fucking Pentagon for the United States government.
Sounds like a lot of nobodies that want to be a somebody, because all those names have absolutely zero relevance to anybody who follows politics.
Okay, so, and I'm not going to say that that's not true, but what I am going to say is, again, why would they release that to the public?
Do you think this alien shirt looks good?
I understand skepticism because I'm not like fully convinced. I'm not like there's aliens walking among us type shit, but like
I wholeheartedly believe that there's more out there in the universe, but I cannot just sit here and be like, I know that they visited Earth, because I don't, and I will not know until I've seen proof of it. Anybody can make the assumption that I guarantee you, like, you're pulling up stuff. Yes, you could search up alien sightings, and there will be millions of people and millions of things that people have said about that. But just because it's said doesn't mean it's true. So
yeah,
like,
but wasn't the U.S. government saying
we
it.
Finally, as a society, decide to actually raid Area 51,
have you
to our plans?
They would never get in. They would never get in far enough to where it would be if they had it there. But so 2 things to what you just said. One, just because that you haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not true. For one. For 2, I agree about the alien sightings things.
Believing.
Yes.
So I guess you have to be a faith of faith to believe that.
Well, that's fact-based belief is what you're talking about. Your fact-based belief. Yeah, not faith-based.
You believe in something that you've never seen that you cannot prove.
Yeah, so I'm saying you're not that though. You have to physically see it for it to be true in your eyes. So are you a believer in Christ?
Not entirely.
Okay, well. Then I can't argue with you.
I think there's a lot more to question than people think. I think people blindly believe and follow stuff just because they're told to.
Yeah.
I don't think
okay, well, I mean, we agree on that. I agree with you. But my thing is when the government starts saying that, like, the people in high-level government officials in the Pentagon, in Senate, in Congress are saying shit like this, like, I just feel like there's a certain level of, like, they probably know something that me and you don't fucking know. Like, regardless of where we work or used to work, that we don't have any access to fucking Area 51. They might not even either, but they guarantee they have more than we do.
Also lie to people all the time. So if you're thinking all government officials are...
I'm not. I don't think that, but I think that it's weird. Dude, do you know how much shit the government tries to cover up and hide? Like, why would they not try to hide this if it wasn't true? Like, if it wasn't true... They don't want people saying that. If it is true,
the aliens are running the government. Let's just be honest. Their technology.
Well, that's what the fucking former defense minister of fucking Canada says. So it's probably true.
That makes sense for the current administration, considering he can't even say a sentence without choking. It's hard to believe that they have control over.
Do you see the shit about the speech he gave or whatever the fuck he was talking about? How he was
F-15s.
The
F-15s.
I don't know about that. I don't see anything about that. But where he was saying that like Trump and all his followers were like radicalists and have to be stopped and blah 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 blah.
Oh yeah.
Here's my thing is I think that people forget that like this is a democracy for a reason, is that you can believe what you want to
Crazy
believe.
everyone.
So like
Democracy.
I don't. We've gone over this probably like 10 times already on the podcast alone, and we know obviously we're brothers, so you already know. But like I'm definitely a very middle of the road person. But to tell people that to straight up tell them that they're a bad person for having their beliefs is insane. Because if I told somebody that they're a bad person for their beliefs, then I would be wrong. Like if I disagreed with them, like if right wing people, I'm a bad example because I'm not right wing, but if a right wing person sold that to left wing people, then they're a bigot and a racist and hateful. But left wing people can stand out there in public and scream it from the top of their lungs. They're like, "That's because we're good." I'm like, come on, brother. Yeah, let that shit rock. And the crazy part is, everyone knows, literally everyone knows, that he's not going to be in office again. He is not going to be in office again. I will put
Even if he got
everything I
elected,
have on that. He's not getting elected. He's not getting elected. He is not getting elected, bro. There is no way. He is one of the worst.
There's no way.
Actually, I think he's the worst rated president in the United States history.
There's no way he should have got elected in the first place.
I agree.
He still did because of our system works. So
No. The reason why he still got The reason why
the nomination again, and then it's him versus whoever
the
probably gets put up, and then he's just gonna get the auto votes just to prevent from a switch. That's all it's gonna be.
no, the Democratic Party's already leaving him behind. There's a lot of people, the Democrats, detaching themselves politically from him. Anyways, he's old as fuck, incoherent, just non-existent.
He was before he even got elected.
He's not even there. But my point is, the reason why he got elected is because he was vice president under Obama, and people were so fucking tired of Trump that they were willing to put anybody else in office. Realistically, that's what happened. And I guarantee you, the way people feel about Biden right now is they want anybody in office. Do you know how many people I've been seeing on social media that were fucking pro-Biden that literally are talking about, God damn, why the fuck did we vote Trump out of office? Like legitimately saying that, not like memeing. Like at least our economy wasn't fucking completely down the drain, even though he's a fucking idiot. Because I think he's a fucking idiot. I think Trump is a fucking... I mean, he's not an idiot like he's stupid, but he just does idiotic shit. You know what I mean? Like that kind of idiot.
Obviously.
But at the end of the day, I would rather our economy be thriving and be under an idiot than be under a fucking idiot and our economy be fucking not thriving. Actually, completely the opposite of thriving. Literally in a fucking hole.
I mean, even in the world political atmosphere, it also went to shit when Biden got elected. Because people knew they could do it.
That too.
Hence the whole...
I also don't really care about that shit that much. To be completely honest, like on a personal level, I just really don't care.
It doesn't impact me, but when innocent people are being killed for stupid shit...
Innocent people get killed every day. I don't
Obviously.
care. It's not that I don't care about innocent people, but
Yeah,
I know that
in
it's...
America, I get that, but I'm just saying, but it's easily preventable stuff. Just from, like, a nation being a piece of shit nation is... where it's
Yeah, but we've let North Korea be a piece of shit nation for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades, and they're going to keep letting them do it. So why restrict other countries from doing it when you're going to let one country or two countries, Venezuela, Cuba, there's a lot of countries that are like that.
When it's the country itself versus when they're negatively impacting other countries just because they don't disagree with the country. But yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but Ukraine is also kind of a piece of shit country, to be completely honest. People would probably be mad for me saying that, but like anybody that actually knows what the political climate is and the amount of corruption over there is knows that Ukraine is not a good country. There's a reason why they're not in the fucking what's it called? In NATO. There's a reason why. It's not because you don't have a president in a democracy. No, it's they have a democracy.
And they have a president.
And they have a president. And what they also have a lot of is a fucking retarded amount of fucking corruption. Like insane amount of like they were like rated as like one of the most corrupt countries in the fucking world like 5 years ago. Like the people are like, "Oh no, Ukraine, we need to add them to NATO." Like, no, you don't. You don't want them in NATO. I promise. You think that now?
Have stayed midland just because they didn't want to be in the middle because of how close they were to Russia. Hence, like Finland and Sweden, and stuff like that. So there are a lot of countries that also did fear the retaliation of them doing that. So, but yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't. Either way, Ukraine is not.
It's
it's not like it's a holy land.
Or the people itself, but yes, obviously, most governments are corrupt.
I agree. Our government's corrupt. Yeah, I think all governments have a level of corruption, but when literally it has like so much corruption that they're like it's the most corrupt country in the world. That's like not that's a democracy. Like that's not a good thing. Like there's
Other
a
than,
reason why it's
Chicago, yeah, probably.
what.
What?
My point
not-
being is, it's not that I don't think that the people of Ukraine should have peace and shouldn't have to be fighting for their lives and their land and their homes and their families. I totally agree that you shouldn't have to be put in that position. But to say that, like, they're, like, deserve it any more than any other country or people or nation or group of people that's under duress is not fair for me to say. We can't help, we physically cannot help everyone because our own country is struggling so
We gotta
bad.
take care of ourselves,
That's
but,
what I'm saying. Like, my whole main point was that, though. It's that America
politics.
needs to take care of America before we take care of everyone
We
else.
refuse to because it's poor politics, but yeah. Yes, most certainly.
You know, another thing that like really bothers me about a lot of one of the things that I would say I lean more right wing on is I do agree with a lot of the border shit for America. I don't know about necessarily a wall because I don't think it actually is that effective. Like you could dig under it or you could climb over it with a ladder. Like they were literally people were doing it just to show that they could. I think a wall is fucking stupid, but I do think that our border should be strict, and especially our immigration policies, because people say, "Oh, it's because America's racist." Like, have you been to any country other than America in the entire fucking? You know that you can't go into Mexico freely, right? I'm sure you know that. You literally cannot go legally into Mexico freely.
Yeah.
Like you have to fucking have a passport to go into Mexico legally. You cannot just walk into Mexico and be like, I'm a citizen of Mexico now. You can't do it. You can't do it in Canada.
The only misconception is the EU, but that's because the EU has treaties.
EU is the
They're
same way,
pretty-
actually, pretty heftily. Most of the EU,
What?
you can't just freely move to. You have to get a visa, and you have to have a work visa, and then you have to become a citizen.
That's what I'm
They
saying,
do.
no.
All the
Here's the thing.
Africans that are in the slave trade, they all try to run away to Europe, and they all get sent back to Africa. Not all, but the bulk of them get sent back to Africa because they're illegal immigrants. People don't know that though. They're like, no, well, it's because America's racist. Well, I mean, then it's because Europe's racist. They're not. It's not. There's policies for a reason. There's immigration policies for a reason. Because if one country is the best country in the world, best and heavy air quotes, their best country in the world, everyone in the entire world would try to live in that country, and it would fail very miserably because it would not be able to sustain a population that big. The bigger the population gets, the harder it is to sustain that amount of people, and the faster that fucking system falls and crumbles under the weight of too many people, too much the need for medical, for food, for education, for jobs, for homes. Like you just physically can't support everyone in the world in one country. It's just not possible. Like it's just not like.
Wow.
And then people are like, well, why? Well, do you think that they immigrate here just for fun? Like, nobody thinks that. They immigrate here because it's a better country. And people are like, well, no, it's not a better country. It's a horrible country. Well, why do you think that fucking so many Mexican citizens are trying to get into America and be in America? Because it's a worse country than Mexico? I hate to break it to you. That doesn't even fucking make any goddamn sense. You know what? I'm going to illegally go from America to fucking North Korea because it's got to be a better place. Like, what are you talking about? Like, nobody's...
Probably.
Dude, there's not hundreds of thousands of Americans sneaking into Mexico.
A lot of people don't use the common sense when it comes.
There's
to
zero common sense. Like, if you
They
literally
forget to
just...
recognize the fact that generally immigration is caused by people who want a better life.
Yes.
Most people don't
That is
immigrate
the only
just
reason
to immigrate. Most people don't. Like, there's very few people that move to another country just for another country.
Very,
Very,
few.
very few people.
Very, very few.
Most people do it because they want something out of the country that they're moving to.
Yeah. Education, money,
Or if
medical.
it's like a company and it's in a different country or something, yeah, stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think that's the problem is a lot of people refuse to actually acknowledge that statement.
Yeah, because the easy way to break that argument down when people say that America's not that good of a country and that that's not the reason why Mexicans come here, be like, well, ask them how many Americans illegally immigrated into Mexico a year. ask them how many. What,
Probably
three?
only the ones that forgot their
Three?
passport.
Yeah.
Only
The,
ones
the
that forgot
three
their-
guys that left their passport in their fucking jacket at the airport.
Yeah.
Like, how many people? Like legit, how many? Not hundreds. I guarantee you, it's not even a fucking. It's not even
yeah.
a percentage. Not even 1% of the amount of people that come from Mexico to America. I guarantee it. Oh, but America's such a bad country, right? I don't agree with all of the whole like high and mighty patriotic shit that a lot of fucking people do. I do love my country. I because I have enough common sense to realize that I was born in a place that's fantastically better than a lot of countries in the world. But
Better than
I'm, huh?
Better than Britain.
Yeah, better than the UK, better than fucking
You
France,
know, those
better than
memes,
Russia, better than fucking North Korea, South Korea, China, Taiwan, all of the Middle East, not all,
Taiwan,
80% of
mainland
Africa,
Taiwan, bigger one.
80% of the South America, like is all tremendously worse than America, let alone even close to as good as America.
Honestly,
like,
the most of the countries that like me equal to are the ones that have
Norwegians.
very much smaller populations.
Norwegian countries.
They're able to be more. It's like a state. It's like if a state lived its own had its own population, is only taking care of itself because it's much easier, obviously. And the demographics, that's the problem too. People forget is America is so diverse.
Multicultural as fuck.
That people want different things in their life. That's just how it is. Different cultures, different backgrounds, different religions. People have different expectations for their life. They have different expectations to what is priority in their life, and then they have different morals. And that's the one thing that America like tries to balance to an extent, but then also fails definitely in some scenarios. But also tries to balance that some countries don't give a shit about. Some countries could give two shits about what your religion is. All that matters is whatever the common religion is. Like obviously, like Russia, especially.
Catholic.
They're all about the.
Catholic.
Well, it's not technically Catholic, but yeah,
It is Catholic.
Greek Orthodox. But Greek Orthodox, which is not
Russian Orthodox, but yeah, it's basically Catholicism. They
Yeah,
believe the
Russian
same thing as Catholics. Their religion just plays out differently, but they're literally Roman Catholics.
They do believe that they're different than Catholics.
But anyway, the point is that yes, you're right. There's not like.
But that's the problem. Well, not the problem with America. It's actually what makes America one of the things that makes America amazing is the fact that we have that diversity and that we're willing to live side by side. But the problem is there's so many people that don't want to live side by side anymore. They want everything to be theirs because a lot of people in the world think the world revolves around them, and that's unfortunately how society is adapting to.
Yeah.
But they need to realize that just because your neighbor doesn't agree with you 100% doesn't mean that they're horrible people. They just have different point of views, and that's one of the greatest but also toughest parts about America right now. Yeah, there's so many people with different views, and there's so many people who refuse to accept other people's views.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some things you don't accept. I'm not saying everything somebody believes in.
Yeah, racism is not cool, no matter who you are.
Obviously.
Even if you're not white,
like,
by the way.
Like there's certain things, obviously, that are not like you shouldn't have to bat an eye to think about whether or not it's right or wrong.
Free speech.
I full-heartedly believe that. Yes. And also like freedom of religion, pretty much what our country's based off.
Freedom
People
of
should
press.
have the choice to choose what they want. People should have the choice to live the life they want to live, as long as it's truly their life. If you're not influencing or impacting other people's life, and that's the problem. Is unfortunately America's actually drifting away from that mentality, and they're starting to build the ideology that everyone has to follow in my footsteps and my beliefs.
Yeah. I think
tough.
One of my biggest complaints with a lot of like political views nowadays is that people think that if you don't agree with them, that you just shouldn't have an opinion at all. And like those people don't realize that the free speech, like the reason that they can even say that or have the opinions that they have now is because of the laws that we have in America. Like I don't think they realize that. Like if you're pro whatever you are, I don't want to like say a specific thing and then seem like I'm one-sided. Huh?
You're pro KFC.
You're pro KFC, right? But this guy's is
all
pro
about
Popeyes. Like the guy that's pro Popeyes can say whatever the fuck he wants about the guy that's pro KFC, bad or good, because he's entitled to his opinion. And the guy that's KFC can do the same thing right back. And the guy that works at Popeyes or pro Popeyes shouldn't be able to say, well, you shouldn't even be in this country. You shouldn't be able to vote. And you shouldn't have an opinion. You shouldn't be able to speak on what you like and what you believe in because it doesn't agree with mine. And I think that my moral views or my viewpoint is better or higher value than yours. That's a problem. And then that guy that was at Popeyes, now he's not even thinking about the fact that the only reason he can even say what he's saying right now to tell someone else that they shouldn't or can't say what they're saying is because he has the right to say those things, which are the whole point of this country. Like, that's literally the whole point of the being here. Not the whole point, but like one of the main foundations of our country is the fact that the guy that's at Popeyes, even how fucking stupid he is, can still have that fucking opinion that he wants. He can still fucking have a stupid ass opinion and tell the guy at KFC that he's not allowed to think how he thinks. Again, like you established, if the guy at KFC is a fucking, I don't even want to say this, but if the guy at one establishment's a fucking racist and the other guy's a not, obviously the non-racist should probably tell the racist to shut the fuck up and to not be racist. That's different. He shouldn't be able to think about being a pedophile or a racist or a murderer. But like, your political views is, I think there should be gun rights. I think that there should be pro-abortion. I think that, whatever. I totally fucking agree. You should be able to be gay, have an abortion, own a gun, whatever the fuck you want. The point is freedom. The point is do what you want as long as you're not hurting other people. Point blank, period. As long as you're not hurting other people, including children, old people, adults, you're not hurting anyone else, doesn't fucking matter what you do. That's the whole point of America. That's literally the whole point of the way our government's set up. And nowadays, the Popeyes people, I shouldn't say that. The Popeye, for the example, for the example that we're giving,
not in like
not actual Popeyes, but the people on one side literally think that their morality is so much better than the other side that they think that the other side should not have an opinion at all. That's dangerous grounds. You're getting to the grounds of where your freedom of speech, your freedom of opinion, your freedom of press, your freedom of religion is becoming very, very thin ice to walk on, because the people that don't agree with you are willing to be louder and more obnoxious about their viewpoints and tell you that you're wrong for yours, even if it's not a bad viewpoint. And that's where I start to get super uncomfortable with shit. Like, I don't give a fuck who you are, what you do, what you love, what you hate. Don't fucking tell me what I have to feel or what my opinion is.
Because I genuinely believe that there's at least 60% of Americans that are actually in that spectrum. The problem is they're still split up 30-30. And so just the way our political system is right now is the fact is that there's still that split of people who are like, well, I still agree with them, but if
I say more like 80 and then 40-40. Like, I don't think it's really that big of a group of people that actually think like the one group you were talking about. I think that group is just so loud and proud and obnoxious about what they believe in and what other people shouldn't believe in that it seems like they're a bigger group.
I was saying like 60% of the people in the middle that genuinely don't give a fuck. And then 20 and 20 is kind of what I was talking. But I said saying like 8 and 10 and 10 and kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's 10 on each side that like have to drive
super
everything
bad
in that perspective versus everything,
Because the one thing that I will talk about with people is like, regardless if I consider myself like almost dead center, if not actually, to be honest, a little bit more to the left, is that the people, I don't agree with the alts on either side whatsoever. Those people are insane on both sides. Like, I don't want a socialistic communist country, and I also don't want a fucking racist country where you can.
But again, 80% of Americans
hang people with them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Probably more than that, but like the small, very outliers on either on both sides are both just as fucked up, and then people try to make one side seem worse. But trust me, they're the loudest too. Yeah. Like you can see all the like the alt-right people, all these like crazies, and then they get related to all the regular conservatives.
Politicians just use this stuff in order to cloud what actually affects Americans.
That's what I was saying.
The taxes and the impact of like what they're pushing on people for like educational purposes, or a lack of control on things that need to be controlled better, or a lack of evaluation of people that need to be evaluated better, or a law system that's completely, not completely, better than a lot of countries. As much as people will hate me saying that, and honestly will try to argue that, it is better than a lot of countries, but there is still many problems with our legal system that need to be fixed. And that's they use the loud things to cloud people's minds of actually concentrating on what's the important things.
Yeah, because like that small group that's let's use the right, for example, that say fucking off the wall, wild, racist shit and do like nut shit, right? They automatically get related to everyone else that's just like a normal conservative. It's just like, I like my guns for hunting and sports. I like Christianity, and I like fucking whatever the fuck they like. You know what I'm saying? I like I'm pro-life. Like, that's not that fucking insane. Like, that's not insane viewpoints. Like, the guys way over here have insane viewpoints. I agree. The guys that are normals are just like, no, they just disagree with what you're saying. They don't think that you should be racist and hate each other. They just don't agree with the specifics of what you're saying. And like, and the same on the left. There's like the regular guys is just like, okay, well, they think there should be a little bit more taxation, and they think that you should be pro-abortion, and they don't like guns, but they're not like, we should take everyone's fucking guns, and there shouldn't be a single gun in America, and blah blah blah. That's not the bulk of Democrats. Then you have the super far other group that's like, there should be zero fucking guns, zero fucking knives. Everyone should goddamn pay all their money. Yeah, and then we equally distribute. Like, that's the problem. Like, you're fucking insane. Like, you're a crazy person, and this guy way over here is a crazy person. You guys need to go be crazy by yourselves, and then let the normal people that actually know how to converse and have their viewpoints without hating each other run the government and the country. Because you can't have a viewpoint. You can't have in my opinion, you can't have a valid viewpoint without understanding someone else's viewpoint first. I can't tell you that your viewpoint's wrong if I have never even listened to it or even tried to understand it. I'm a good debater, I think. So like, I can sit there and argue with somebody.
I'd consider myself a master debater.
I'm definitely a master debater, but I think that I could sit there and listen to someone's argument, hear what they're saying, dissect it, destroy it for the most part, but at least I know what they believe. At least I know why I feel like they're wrong. But there's those people on the outliers, on the super fars, that they don't even know what the fuck is going on. They just assume shit.
They just scream one thing on there.
Yeah, or they're just, again, they're just one's louder than the other, and then that's the people that seem like they're the right ones because they're more passionate and aggressive about what they believe. But in real reality, they're both fucking psychopaths.
The thing that'll truly fix America, it never will, because it actually happened at a point to an extent on certain situations, but is they have to have someone in the middle get elected. And honestly, as much as people hate me saying this, Trump was actually a lot more on the middle than any politician that has ever been elected in the last like 3 centuries.
Yeah, he actually was very left.
Because he actually didn't give a shit about what people lived their lives, but he also believed in like a totalistic freedom in a sense.
Yeah, you know that before he was elected, he was like largely always a Democrat. Did you know that? Like, publicly known as a Democrat, like a famous Democrat, like a celebrity Democrat. Like, hung out with other like Democrats, like officials, and only Democrats, like Bill Clinton and shit. Like, and people are like, oh, dude, he's such a fucking crazy right wing guy. Blah blah blah. Like, dude, he's like been publicly known as a Democrat for his entire fucking life.
The problem is, it's like when someone else gets elected like that even actually has a better tone, and actually knows how to like pit others.
Has more class.
Because he did pit people before himself in certain situations, but definitely always thought of himself greater than a lot of other people.
And he has almost no class, which is hard to accept that as a leader.
As a person, nobody's want that as a leader. Yeah. But like the problem is the party system will automatically go to eliminate that, because they realize as soon as people like that get elected, the party system dies, and they want the party system because that's how they make their money.
Yeah,
because they get companies that invest in them, they get organizations that invest into them, and that's how they get millions of dollars, because they just take advantage of the public.
They make billions, probably, fucking tons of money.
Yeah,
fucking rich as fuck. The richest people in the world are those people. The government.
But yeah, that's
people that control the politicians.
The fact is that the politicians truly they take advantage of the party system. So even if someone ever was to get elected, they would just do whatever they can to paint them in a bad picture, to instantly try to convince people that if they ever to elect this person again, it would just be a bad choice for the individual versus than the actual politician. So
yep.
But I'd say the biggest change to our society would be someone in the middle actually getting elected, and somehow getting elected 2 terms.
But like a real in the middle too, not like a.
Well, first of all, in the middle, but also
but you
no
can't
one's going to be
guns.
entirely in the middle. No one's going to be entirely in the middle, right? Because there's too many people that also believe, like, morally don't believe in certain things, and that's what kind of hurts. Like, religion hurts politics,
which is why I said I'm in the middle. But like if there's like a chart of like this, right, and then like there's a deadline in the middle, like you obviously, like, it would be very difficult, almost impossible, if not impossible, to be on that line. I actually consider myself more to the left. Because with the right, the main things that I really only agree with is like pro-gun and like pro-freedom of like speech and all that shit. other than that, like constitutional rights that are like I think should be,
Economically, you believe more conservative.
but and yeah, probably economically, but like everything else, I actually am like probably even more left because very very pro-choice. Um, what else? I don't know. There's a lot of things I'm trying to like think off the top of my head, but like religion shit. Like I don't think religion should be forced on people at all. At all. Like the school shit. Like a lot of right wing people still believe that. Like you should be teaching God in school. I don't think that at all.
Oh no, that's definitely actually.
I don't think religion should be in any part of our government whatsoever. And there's still a lot of it based around religion in our government because of when it was established. It was a long time ago, but that being said, there's still a lot of there's a lot of things that I'm actually more like freedom to do like drugs and shit. Like if you want to do fucking smoke weed and do cocaine, like dude, by all means, do what the fuck you want to do. I don't give a fuck because I'm not gonna do it, so I don't care. I literally do not care what other people do. So I definitely think on a lot of things I actually lean like way more left, but not like obviously far left, but like way more left than I would say right. So my point was of what you said is it is hard to say dead middle because even though I have points on both, I do think that at the end of the day I actually would be more left wing, and it actually makes it really hard for somebody like me to vote because I'm very pro gun, I'm very like pro like freedom of speech and freedom to do whatever the fuck you want. But I'm also very against like pro-life people that think that they should be able to tell women what to do with their bodies or think that gay people shouldn't be able to get married. Like, I don't give a fuck if you're gay and get married. I don't give a fuck if you're a transvestite. That's not a proper word to say. I apologize if you're a transsexual. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck what you do. Like, I really literally do not give a fuck. Like, no one is affecting me personally by making your own personal choices. So I don't agree with them, and like it would be very hard for me to vote right because of that, because I don't agree with those things that they're saying. But then it'd be very hard for me to vote left because I know that they want to take the fucking my self-defense away from me. They want to take my guns away from me. They want to fucking limit free speech. They want to fucking tax the fuck out of people to make good money. And guess what? I happen to be one of those people. So like it's fucking like it's hard to fucking see where you're gonna vote, and then like you say, oh well, I could vote for the guy that's in the middle, right? But then like we both know that guy's not getting to fucking be president. Like very unlikely that he is because of the party system that you're talking about. So like it makes it really hard. Like a lot of times I feel like it's not even worth voting for me because I don't agree with either side holistically. Like not even close to holistically I agree with either side. Like not even close, bro. Like legit, not even close. Yeah. With Trump and Biden, first of all, Biden's just a fucking straight up idiot, so I definitely wouldn't vote for him. But like, I low key didn't want Trump to be in office anymore because he's also a fucking idiot. I mean, at least he's doing some positive for the government, but he's a fucking idiot. Like at the end of the day, I think Trump should not be president. 100%, I do not support Trump, and 100%, I do not support Biden. So like, it's one of those things. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I didn't vote last election. I'm not gonna vote for either one of those. I'm not gonna, dude. I'm not gonna do it. Like people could hate me for it. People are like, well, you need to. It's your American right. You have all these opinions about politics, and
to be fair,
bro. I can't vote for either of these people. I don't support them. I don't support either one of them. I think they're both fucking ridiculous. I think that we need like a fucking 35-year-old guy who has like a middle collar, like a blue collar job, who has like a normal life and normal money and has like normal views, like very middle of the ground views like me. Not saying me, it should be me, but like someone like me that has very middle of the ground, like either way it could be cool. And then let someone like that run the country for a few years and people be like, holy fuck. Like this guy actually thinks about shit before he does it. He doesn't just do shit. He doesn't say crazy shit. He doesn't hate people. Like he's just fucking chilling. Like that's honestly how I think it should be, bro. Like I just can't. It's so hard for me to vote for one or the other because they're so ridiculously opposite when they want to be that it makes me just unattracted to their viewpoints holistically. And again, like I said earlier, I actually think that Donald Trump economically he's obviously a businessman. So economically, it makes sense for him to be in a position of power. Like obviously, but for the rest of his, and he's pro 2A and shit.
He was
pro military.
He didn't give a shit what people did with their own lives though too.
True, but he's also a fucking idiot.
Like, drugs. He was gonna. I know, but I'm just saying.
Also didn't know how to talk to people.
In the more left spectrum though, he didn't care gay marriage and stuff. He was actually the first president to pit someone like was openly gay in his administration.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, so like, and I understand that, but
the highest person. But I'm saying like that's
he's
an idiot.
Like,
I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm also saying like people discredit him for the fact that he actually wasn't as conservative as people thought he was. It's just that the crowd that was the loudest supporting him was very, very right
That's a
conservatives
problem for
because
me.
that was the thing.
That's
It
a
wasn't
problem.
actually the fact of him. It wasn't actually what he ran on. It wasn't actually necessarily what he believed in or how he wanted to run. For a lot of things he did, he also actually supported both party systems.
People took the MAGA slogan, which actually wasn't really a bad, technically a slogan. I have actually mixed opinions about that slogan, but I don't think that his intention behind the MAGA shit was bad. But the people that took it to the most extreme were the people that you don't want carrying your brand around.
Well, it was both ways too, though, because there was also the liberal side that also said the only reason, like that they were insinuating that Trump wanted to bring back slavery. Like a lot
That's
of
what I'm
people tried
saying.
to.
Because of those people, though. Because of those people, though. The people that were carrying his brand around the loudest and the proudest generally were not the type of people that you. I'm not saying everybody. Like, obviously, there's normal conservatives that supported him. Like, I get it. But generally, the people that were the loudest and the proudest were not the motherfuckers that you really want fucking goddamn promoting your shit. Like, there's the people that are probably like either low key or high key racists and fucking don't believe that you should be able to make your own choices. And because there's the thing about conservatism that I don't support. Huge one. People like to say, "Oh, well, do you think you should do whatever you want?" No, they don't. You can't get an abortion. You can't fucking. There should be one religion, Christianity, holistically. Like that's what they think.
I don't know. I don't actually.
A lot
know
of them
many
are
people
racist.
who believe the one religion thing.
Dude, it's heavily Christianity, and like the right wing thing is
I mean,
heavily like
they
they
are,
want to
but I
put God
actually
back
don't
in the
think
schools and shit.
anybody
I don't
that-
agree with that. Ugh, no.
I also do actually believe that they should teach religion in schools, but I'm also
No.
think I'm looking at actually the bigger perspective that they should be teaching multiple religions, and it's an option.
Theology.
It's not a requirement. Yeah.
Theology. They should be
Religion, that's what
teaching.
I said. I didn't say Christianity, I said religion. That is.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it
yeah.
is.
So maybe
But
I should
think if
clarify what I
someone-
said earlier.
if
I don't
a
think
kid
that they.
asked- If a kid asks, like, "Hey, I would like to learn more religions," I think that they should be given the opportunity because, honestly, as much as people might not believe this, but in order for a kid to learn religion properly, they're either going to learn it from their parent, which is going to be biased,
Yep.
or they're going to learn it from an educational institute that can give them the opportunity to learn from multiple perspectives
Yep.
of a different cultures of religion.
Yeah.
Because if you're learning it only at home, then you're going to be taught in a biased perspective as to
Yep, like
what
we
you
were.
should believe versus what you want to believe.
And a lot of times that pushes you further away from that
And that's
religion,
why I
anyways.
actually
As
believe
people like
religion
us,
should
our
be in
family.
schools. Religion should be in schools. I actually do
Okay.
believe that. I do support that, but I think that it should be completely unbiased. So it is
Yeah.
based off of you could choose what religions you want to study. I don't think it should be forced as well to study every religion, because first of all, that'd be a lot of curriculum anyways. But I also believe
Optional.
that and it should be optional. The student themselves should be saying, like with their console, like I would actually like to do a semester of where
It's an
I get to
elective.
learn.
It's an elective.
religion.
It'd be an
Yes.
elective. So okay, so to recorrect what I said, because you actually made a good point, and it probably sounded like I was saying what I wasn't saying. I wasn't saying that there should be zero religion taught in schools. What I meant, and I'm sure you realize that, is that they shouldn't
I do.
promote a specific religion in schools is the problem. Saying that you need to be Christian and you need to pray to God and you need to salute your allegiance to God in school,
Or all-
not
or
okay to me.
anything.
Or whoever it is, yeah. But like, it's not. You shouldn't be doing that. I do 100% agree. If there's an elective for fucking theology,
know that there are-
and kids
you
want to
are
go
aware
learn about all the different religions, by
So
all
you-
means
I'm
do
just,
it.
and this is
I
people are
took
gonna think that
theology
I'm
in
being
college. You
biased.
know that, right? I had learned all about a
but
lot of religions.
So probably to think some people are gonna think I'm being biased with this, but you do know that there are also left wing groups that believe that there should be religions taught, but not Christian religions in school. You are aware of that, right?
Of
Like there are
course.
left wing ones that believe that
course.
actually only the Quran should be taught in public schools because
Of
they
course I
believe that
do.
it's
Extremists.
Okay,
There's
I know,
extremist
I'm
Christians. There's extremist
That's-
Christians.
no, I know,
There's
but
extremist
that's what it is. Everyone
Lutherans.
always-
Yeah,
like,
no,
you were
I know
doing, you
that.
were only pointing at the right side of the aisle. So I'm just saying, for people who think that it is only a Christian thing, it is not actually. It's actually pretty much. I should say every religion because I've never actually have heard of a Buddhist that thinks that should be taught in schools, but I have heard like Jewish. I have heard Catholic. I have heard Christian. I have heard
Actually,
Muslim.
a lot of Jews
I have
will
heard-
try to persuade you from being Jewish unless you were born Jewish. That's actually
I mean,
not
like,
true.
like
No, they're-
actual church figures, not like people figures. I'm talking about
No, like the
churches.
church of. If you go right now to a Jewish
because
to a
a lot of
synagogue
them
and
think-
tell them that
yeah,
you want to
they
be
still
Jewish,
want
they
you
will
to-
tell you to no.
But the
You
thing
don't
is,
want
they
to
still
be.
want you to know what it is, and it's not that they don't want you to be. It's the fact that Jews believe that they are of them on themselves.
Holy.
That you had to be born into
Yeah, holy people.
Judaism. You can't be converted into Judaism.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I'm
not
saying.
everyone. That's not all of them. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I think that's only Orthodox Jews. But yes, that's why some rabbis, honestly believe that they are better than other people
Yep.
because they think that they were born into that. Kind of like the entire UK government with the Queen. That's
Yeah.
but that's obviously not. That's a whole other system.
I
Just 'cause you're
wasn't.
born
Okay. So again, that thing. I'm
I know,
not
but I'm
pointing
just saying,
specifically at Christianity
I
or
don't- I
saying
know,
that they shouldn't teach any religion in school.
but it is like
Maybe
one
you
of
need
those
to be more careful.
unfortunate
But
no, but that is one of those unfortunate, like unspoken, like things that a lot of people like constantly like put on like I don't get me wrong. Conservatives generally are actually do lean more Christian, like
by far, that's a
versus like
fact.
other religions. But also America by far is more Christian than any other
Yes,
religion.
by far.
So that's I was kind of like it's one of those like weird comparisons. Because if America is leaning like 70-80% where they say they believe in God, and then like 65 to 70% of that is Christian, then obviously yes, you're going to automatically have, just same with liberals. If you ask them the majority of the religion, if they have a religion, it's going to be Christianity. It's the same
Yep.
perspective.
Yeah.
Just some of them don't. And there are also liberals who also I don't know. It's one of those stupid subjects that like you can't really balance it because no matter what, there's going to be people who believe that religion should be an influence to political like what is it, political opinions and political actual like laws, but then there's also going to be the same ones that also believe that like yeah, I fully support my religion, but I also understand why I can't force people to live under rule. That's the freedom of will, is that religion does not control law is its own thing. I mean, technically in the actual Bible it even says that. Jesus says that himself. He actually states the fact that you must follow Caesar's rule as you follow my rule, which in that is he is saying that his rule is not the rule of the world, it is the rule of God. So, hey, you could literally look at scripture. I'm obviously I was raised Christian, so I know that one because of that. I would be probably fairly confident that other religions also have somewhat of that same context where they completely evaluate the fact that there is a two system part like thing, that just because you follow religion doesn't mean it should be controlling your government. It says that in the Bible.
Yeah.
Jesus literally says that. He literally says you have to follow Caesar's rule as you follow my rule.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think we went on like a hard religious tangent there, but I just think that at the end of the day, regardless of what I do or don't believe, or you do or don't believe, I don't think that that's one of those things again that like nobody should be forced to even attempt to believe anything like. And I agree 100% with the.
Different than the actual like opportunity though. Opportunity to learn should
That's
always
what I'm
be in
saying.
every situation
I was about
possible.
to say that. I agree. Actually,
Anyone who's willing to learn anything, then they should be given the opportunity to learn it.
yeah, because
That's
people
just
like
how
us
we should
that were
be.
raised
Sorry.
in a very, 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 very strict Christian household, and to the point where like we were in church 3 to 4 times a week type shit, like very Christian, and seeing how people in our family acted, even though they were very, very, very Christian, right? And you know what I'm talking about. And then realizing that like I grew up, became an adult, had my own free will and my own opinion to think how I wanted and learn what I wanted, and it wasn't that I hated Christianity or that I just think that it's completely wrong. It's just that I just don't really agree with basically everything that's said. Basically everything that's said just doesn't add up. It's a story to me. And so like, but so is the rest of the religions that I've studied. When I took theology, everything just seems like it's just a story about morality, really, in my opinion. So like, we don't have to get too much into it, but I feel like all religions are just based on stories of morality. That's all it is. Just be a good person. Like at the end of the day, just don't be a fucking piece of shit. There's religion. There's every religion for you. That sums it up. Every single one. Just don't be a piece of shit and be a good person. And then, they add extra shit on top of the core principle of all religion, in my eyes, how I see it, is just don't be a piece of shit. There you go. Bam. You're a Christian. You're a Jew. Like, you're a fucking Muslim. Like, they all basically think the same thing. They all have their own shit. Yes. They all have their own traditions. One more thing that I want to point out about religions too, especially in America, is that I think it's a little bit weirder because of, like you said, we're a very diverse country. But I think that a lot of people still attach their cultural association with the religion. So like, there's like I could be wrong, but there's like a stigma of like if like all of the white people all of a sudden wanted to be Muslims, like people I feel like would target that as like appropriation or like we're just like we just want to control it. Like if they wanted to do that, I'm not saying that they want to or that white people want to,
People who
but like
don't actually.
oh that's not even your
Right.
culture. Like that's not even
Yeah.
your culture. Like oh
Yeah. If you
why are you
back
eating
really
Jamaican food? You're not even Jamaican. You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
culture appropriation ideology that people are trying to push now that like
Yeah.
just because you want to celebrate or respect another religion doesn't make it. The problem is people tend to confuse what is
Respect for
disrespectful and what is
appropriation.
respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is disrespectful and what is respectful.
Yep.
Because if I go eat a different cultured food, I'm not going there to just be part of the culture. I'm going there to
I'm not going there to be trendy. I'm going there because I
enjoy
fucking
that
like
culture.
jerk
Yeah.
chicken
Especially
and
me.
I like fucking rice and
Especially me.
peas.
And I mean, I guess you too, but especially me. Like, I will literally eat any fucking food. Like, I'm not a picky person. I'm not allergic to anything. I will try any culture of food, but I'm not doing that to like get like praise or anything. Like, I
You
just
get
do
cool
it because
points on
there's a
Instagram.
lot of different things. There's a lot of different things like out there. Like, if you're not willing to, that's what that's actually one thing that kind of I guess more confuses me than it actually disappoints me is how is the line defined as what is you're trying to build a diversity of understanding other cultures, and then the line of what
Appropriation.
is appropriation of you're just literally trying to take over that culture by partaking in that. Kind of like the
I
same
can't
thing
answer that
music.
question. I wish I could, but I agree with
No,
you.
I know, but I
I
mean
know what
that's
you're
like one of
saying,
those
and I
things
agree.
where, like, if I was to sit down with people who believed they understood culture appropriation and who understood the proper ability to develop a diversity in mind of other cultures, then I think that would be like probably the biggest question I would have for them is how do you define what is like building a diversity of culture versus a culture appropriation?
Yep.
Because if you just say it's disrespectful, then that's also not true with what a lot of people call culture appropriation.
Yeah.
Like when, like I guess for some things, like it could be my own ignorance, I guess. Obviously, like I'm not saying that I know for a fact that there is into difference. I'm just saying like I would truly like to understand what people in people's minds is.
You know, I watched this video, right? It's was this Japanese dude, right? And he was interviewing Americans that were living in Japan, and they were talking about them, and they were talking about like the culture differences and all that. And then they were interviewing Japanese people about the Americans that live in Japan, and he was asking like, "Oh, what if they wear? I can't remember the outfit's called, but like, what if you see a white woman or a black female, a black white female or black female wearing like whatever their traditional dress is, right? And like, how would you feel about it?" And they're like, "I don't care. Like that just means that they like our culture. They like the way that we
That's a
dress.
lot
They
of
like the
weird,
shit that we
you know?
eat." And like, I'm aware, but what I'm saying is in America though, if you see a white girl walking down the street in a fucking whatever it is called,
Well,
and then you're
they've
like,
done
oh,
the
what the fuck? Like,
they've,
what does she think she's fucking Asian now because she has her little
they've
outfit on? Like, people do that. Like, no, she could
they've
just
done
like their
those social
culture.
studies. They've done those social studies in America too, though, right? Like where they would have like someone who's perceived as a Hispanic person dressed up as a white person, and there's nothing wrong with it. But then you have a white person and like Hispanic like dress and stuff, and then they would be like that's perceived as racism or cultural appropriation.
Yeah,
And then say like really, you've seen that before. I've seen that before plenty
I've
of
seen the
times.
videos, yeah, where they're
Even when
testing it.
so like it's one of those things I think too where as a society there's definitely a lot of things that people do just to make them feel better or make them feel as if they are the this is probably not the proper word to use, but like they're the hero of them, right?
They're
There's definitely a lot of
holier than thou.
there's definitely a lot of people in society that do things for people because they think that they can't do it for themselves. So like me speaking up, saying that like somebody dressing like something is cultural appropriation, but that if you ask someone of that actual culture if it is a cultural appropriation, then they're like, no, that's just they're
Good.
actually
I like
liking
that he
what
likes
part of
our
my
shit.
culture and they're doing something that's in my culture. Yeah, they're just actually, in a sense, just flexing my culture.
Which is what I was saying about the Japanese. That's the point I was making about the Japanese people that were like, no, that's dope that they like our clothes and they like our food.
But it
And
is crazy though
like,
that
that's
there's
dope.
like there is a like a
I
stereotype too.
I
Though,
think the thing with the white people thing in America is that historically there was a lot of racism and fucked up shit with white people in
problem is
America.
it's more like the token things. It's more like
Yes,
it's
but
not because they
yeah,
actually believe it. It's more just the fact that they either think that if they don't say that they believe it, then they will be canceled, or they just want to be able to be the hero to that people by saying like,
yeah,
"Oh my God, that's right." It's actually this is hilarious because I just watched this gentleman came to our work and what I cannot recall his name whatsoever. He was a very famous. Well, I don't know how good he was, but he was a famous basketball player. Played in the NBA. He was African American, well, African British man, I guess technically. Um, he was like the first openly gay basketball player too, and he said that they did a study across like a bunch of countries, and they did the evaluation of like defining races and whatnot. One of them was like black people, like what would be the top words that you would describe as a an African person, black person, because technically he did it like across the world. So obviously he's not people in Europe call people African American. That'd just be stupid. And so the responses generically for what they would say would be like strong, athletic, like
I saw this. I saw a video about the same exact thing you're talking.
I wonder if it was the same guy. But then they came back and he said, "Well, what do you think other people were?"
Yeah.
All of them, like the top 10, were all negative.
Yep.
And it was kind of like it shows the fact that people generally believe that like they're perceiving themselves as greater than what other people are.
Yep.
Like it really does.
I literally
Like,
saw it on a.
well, I think they're strong and athletic, but other people probably think that they're criminals and
Yeah.
like I can't remember the top 3 negative ones. Like they were pretty fucking like actually disturbing.
Yeah, like
I
dark
guess
shit.
one was like oppressed, which I guess is more just like a you think
Fact.
that like all black people are oppressed, which they definitely are, but
Historically,
also
at
the
least.
same time,
Yeah.
yes, historically, but at the same time, just to believe that all African Americans or all African people are oppressed is also kind of negligent because there's obviously very successful black people too. Not saying that they didn't get there through oppression by coming over tremendous barriers, because there are people who have gone through some very fucking horrible things just to
Jay-Z
get to
dealt crack in the 80s.
It's like
And now he's a
But anyway,
billionaire.
it was-
no
it is-
cap. Literally. He literally was a
but it
crack
is-
dealer in the 80s.
But it is sad though that it was like it just goes to perceive that people's mentality is more of like a, I don't know. I guess from my perspective, it kind of shows the fact that people.
I saw a
obviously
I saw a
have their
podcast that was something like that. I don't think it was the same guy, but they basically said the same thing, and they went and asked like a panel of people, like what would be your top, if you could describe this group of people this way, what would be the 3 good and 3 bad things? It was like the same. I saw something like almost exactly what you just said, and like with white people, it was always like. It was like just weird, like random
John-
shit, but like black dudes like strong, good looking,
John
fast,
Amachi,
can
like
jump
that.
high.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But his name's John Amachi.
Yeah.
So he's a British American psychologist is what they call him.
Yeah.
But he played in the NBA. And
Yeah.
that's one of the studies that he did like with his team and whatnot.
Yeah, I did
his
see a
speech
lot of
was
shit
awesome.
about that.
His speech was actually really, really fucking awesome. Like he did really great with that shit.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things he was talking about was like it was like the way that they perceived them was all like optimistic, but then the way that they thought other people perceived them was
Which
all like
shows
super
actually
negative and pessimist.
Which actually
it
shows
kinda-
a lot of things about that person, by
It
the
kind
way.
of talks about them too, though. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like,
If I were
yeah,
to say
yeah,
that
it's
a
like-
group of people, not a specific one, I don't even want to say this, but like if I were to say a specific group of people was 3 very bad things, or what I think other people would think, then in somewhere in the back of my mind, I also already have that conclusion in my head, because
Yeah, that
you wouldn't
bias.
just pop up. Yeah, you wouldn't just pop that up out of your head for no reason.
You're not gonna go from like your mindset is all positive. To
Yeah, well, I think
instantly
other
thinking
people
everyone
think
else
that they're
is
this, and this. You'd be like, what the
they're
fuck?
lazy and they're criminals and they're killers.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like,
well, that's
pretty
kind of
insane.
weird.
Yeah, that's pretty
Who do you
insane.
hang out
That
with if that makes you come to your mind? Who is that?
yeah. Who's your group of
You're
friends? Who are you raised
building-
around? Yeah.
You're
So,
building
I
your
have
own-
seen those before, and like I can't remember the one it was, but it was similar to that. But I just want to say that he was like, "Oh yeah, black people." He's like, they're like good looking, strong, fast. They can jump high. And then the black dude was like, "Well, that's not. I mean, I guess if that is racist, then I'm not mad about you being a racist because I like that you said all those things about me." It was somebody. It might have been Joe Rogan. It was somebody that was
the
like
North
they made light of
that.
it, but it was the same thing. They were saying the same thing, and they're like, "How'd you
North
describe
sounds
white
like
people?" And they were like, when it rains they stink and they're non-athletic for the most part and whatever and they're like, see, that's pretty fucking racist. Like that's pretty bad shit. Like I guess if
I'm
that is
sure it
racist,
does,
then that would be worse
I'm
than
sure
how you
that
feel
there's a
about
lot
black people.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people who could do it both ways.
Oh,
Don't get me wrong.
of course. Like,
I'm not saying it's just like white people.
course.
doing it, but
Of course.
people,
Of course.
black people.
I think actually the worst one, and I don't want to misquote this. I'm not even gonna say it. There was one group of people that like was like way worse than what they said than the rest of them, and it wasn't white or black. I'm gonna tell you that. And they were like, it was like the shit that they were saying was like, holy fuck, you are like
Hey, chill,
You need
brother.
to relax. It was like a panel of people. It wasn't like just one person. It was like a panel of this group of people. We're talking about black people and white people, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah.
I think you guys missed the mark on this one.
Yeah. I don't think you guys are too much a fan of us. Americans. I'm talking about Americans, just white and black people in general.
Well, there's also that too. There's just bias. There's bias in everything, unfortunately.
Everything. In
So,
the entire history of the world, there's been racism, there's been slavery, there's been corruption, there's been evil, there's been good, there's been smart, there's been dumb. Entire existence of humans, there's been all those things. It's just a fact. The only reason why it seems so prominent and times like now is because we have the power of social media and the internet and
we
news
use
and
it.
instant gratification of knowledge that we want when we want it. When can I look up what was the last racist cop shooting that happened?
And we
When
use
was
it
the
to
last
lift
time?
ourselves up, or we use it to tear others down and stuff like that too. That's the problem as well, obviously. So it's used in political arguments versus in like a true like, hey, this is actually the problem, not oh, can we bring up politics, and that's the problem too.
You know, I think of that on that note, I think actually like a huge problem with our society now and like the way that social media works and information, how fast it can go around and how everybody wants to be perceived, especially the people in like the public eye want to be perceived as like holier than thou, right? They don't want to get canceled and they don't want to be perceived as like a bad person. Is that
Yeah,
they
there's-
put too much, they attempt to have political views that they don't even, I seriously think they don't even really fully understand or believe in, but they'll say shit and promote shit just to be like, I'm that guy, right? Like I'm cool, I'm hip, I'm understanding, or I'm accepting, or I agree with these people
yeah.
that honestly they probably don't give a fuck. Like I was watching a podcast, Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon's a comedian, he's a funny ass motherfucker. But they were talking about it, and this dude Tim Dillon was talking about like he literally, it was a celebrity that he didn't name, but he was like, there's like multiple, but he's like one specific that stood out as like this guy that literally will like push down his assistants and like call them fucking racial slurs and like fucking beat up his fucking girlfriends and shit and do all this fucked up shit. But then he'll like post on his Twitter about like love is for everyone and there shouldn't be no hate in the world, and like using all these like, you know, like pro fucking movement terms and sayings and shit. And it's like, and it's crazy how people don't like, they think that, oh, he posted that on Twitter, he's got to be understanding and he's got to love the trans community and the gay community. And in all reality, he's fucking calling his assistant some like some derogatory terms about like fucking, you know, whatever. And like, bro, like, but that's reality though. People show what they want to.
Politicians that like try to say that like, you know, it's not cool to catcall women and it's not cool. Like obviously sexual harassment's a horrible thing, but then they ended up sexually harassing a woman. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, wait a minute. Weren't you the guy that was like clearly trying to say like, hey, this
Grab
is
by the
bad, but
pussy.
then you did it yourself? It's kind of weird, right?
Fucker in the pussy.
Like half of New York politicians.
Yeah, I've seen it happen. I just got one thing to say. Fucker the pussy.
It's like,
Remember that guy on the news? Has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but that's just what it
yeah,
reminded me of. It was funny.
but that's my point though. Like it's there's definitely a double standard for people who are famous or stuff because they know that they can get away with stuff, but then they use other stuff just to push their agendas. Yeah,
When you have a social influence and you want to maintain that social influence and that social like image, so you'll say whatever the fuck you need to say and promote whatever the fuck you need to promote, whatever's trendy. But in all reality, you don't really believe or live by those things at all. Like he was literally talking about multiple people. Like one specific guy was like the worst, but like multiple people he knows that do this on like social media and in public. But in all reality, behind closed doors, they're making cracking fucking racist jokes and derogatory jokes and, you know, saying bad shit and treating people like shit, but then they're on Twitter, they're like, love is pure, love is for all. It's like, it is crazy that people do that. Like, it's fucking crazy.
It's kind of like talking about domestic violence and like making yourself a victim, but then end up being like the one that actually was the domestic violence, like
or like started it. Yeah,
but,
like all I did was punch him in the face, and then he beat my ass.
Use social media to like, you know, destroy someone's life and like to get everyone on your side and stuff. But then in reality, when like the light actually shines,
like, all I did was shit on his bed and try to stab him and punch him in the head.
Yeah, kind of. It's kind of like
and
that.
fuck his best friend.
Like I don't have any like good cases, obviously. Like it's kind of like that.
Nothing publicly good that I can think of off the top of my head.
Nothing that happened at all.
Dude, did you see that? It was like just the other day. She quote unquote hacked her sister's Instagram to get on some shit that Johnny Depp posted and call him a disgusting human being. Like, how toxic is this
I mean,
bitch?
Johnny Depp is definitely not anywhere near
Yeah.
a
He's
decent
not
human
a
being for
saint,
what
bro, but
he
he
is.
is not. But like,
He's
why?
also not a violent person like he was
No,
perceived by her,
no.
and obviously wasn't at all. And then he seems to actually harm her, which obviously was proven. But yes, and that's because she's obsessed because she realized that she ruined her own career by doing all the things she did, and she didn't get away with it when she thought she did. Because she did get away with it for over a year, and then when she finally got, put in place, then she's like, "Fuck! I just did the worst thing I probably could have done because instead of just leaving Johnny and doing all the shit that I did to him and just dropping it, I made it worse for him, and in return, he brought Shine Light onto it." So,
Yep. And that was
and now she's
something
able to just
America needed, honestly.
now her life just kind of revolves around it because she has to do whatever she can to try to build back her reputation that is completely non-existent for most average normal human beings.
You,
That
you know what's,
obviously are very
dude,
capable of
you know what's
understanding.
crazy? Now that I'm thinking about it, is that it's on the subject you're talking about, so I'm not trying to like change the subject of what you're saying, but the fact that we've been talking about like how the country is going in the world and shit, but the fact that so many people supported Johnny Depp through that shit is actually kind of nuts. Like how many people saw that like what the truth was and really like how bad the fucking world is getting to where a female could do that shit and basically ruin someone's life, and people were looking at it like, even people that I never expected to agree with him were agreeing with him, and I'm like, this is something big. Like this needed to happen to our country because, like, as weird as it sounds that it needed to happen, like feel like it really did because it shed a light on something that's a very real thing or problem. Is like false claiming shit that can ruin someone's life is a fucking serious problem.
Yeah, and it did in many ways, but for him especially.
And now he got his Dior contract back, signed for like fucking shit ton of money, like it was like 100 million or something. Got movie contracts right away. She got apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently got completely removed from Aquaman. She fucking
Actually, I think so. But
selling her house, like all her life's being ruined. But like she deserves to be in jail, in my opinion. Like you should be in prison.
Try to ruin someone's life, and you
effectively ruined someone's life for a period of time, and they got back, but they still have that image stained on them. There's still a lot of fucking people that agree with her, like not nearly as many as Johnny Depp's side, but there's still a lot of fucking people that are like supporting her and commenting on her Instagram and making TikToks about it and shit. Like those people would never have that opinion about him if you didn't lie and say the things that you said, and then continue to lie and say the things you said about them. And that man, and now forever, has his image tarnished because of what you said, which was absolutely not true at all. And like I it's the same thing with like people that women or men, I guess, but like obviously this is a female thing more than male, but like women that false claim rape. Like I think you should go to prison for that. You should go to prison. You should go sit in prison for 5 years. If you want to say some shit like that and ruin someone's life, go to prison. Go have fun in prison. Go tell prisoners about that.
For the false accusations. So
they, huh?
I say, especially since some men have gone to prison for their false accusations, and they get, and yeah. So
there was the one story about like this one stands. I'm sure it's happened plenty of times. But there was the story about the dude that the female, it was like a college athlete something, but the female false claimed rape on him. He got sentenced to prison. He killed himself in prison, and then she came out like however long later, 2, 3, 4 years, and then she came out and said, I lied about that. This has been weighing on my shoulders for so long, and I was mad about whatever he did, and blah 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 blah, but he never did that, and I feel like a piece of shit. And then like obviously she was publicly chastised into the fucking dirt, but like the fact that you have no legal repercussions for this dude lost everything he had in his life. He was in college and an athlete, whether he was going to be pro or not. He's in college and is an athlete and has his life to live, and he gets everything taken away from him, put in prison, and so bad that he kills himself, and you get to just walk around free like nothing
because
happened.
unfortunately, if he's found guilty, there's nothing he could do when he gets out of prison.
He's fucked. He's fucked. He's remembered as a predator for his whole life. He's remembered as a rapist, as a sex offender, as a piece of shit. He's not gonna have a degree, not gonna be an athlete, not gonna have a good career, not gonna probably have a family. Like all those things that it got took away from him by a lying ass female, and she got away with it, and she's walking around living her life every day like it's fucking normal. Dude, that shit's so sick. That shit is so sick. Like I can't imagine the amount of just patheticness you have to have in your body to do that. It's so pathetic. It's so just disgusting and pathetic. Like I literally can't imagine myself in any situation in the world saying anything even remotely that bad about somebody, let alone that fucking serious and that bad. Like that is just
Problem
dark.
it's psycho bitches that
It
think
is
they can go out
dark.
there.
Like that is dark shit for somebody to do that, bro. You
Mhm.
have to be a fucking disturbed soul to fucking put somebody in prison and then they kill themselves. And even then, even if you were that dark that you let it happen, that you let him go to prison and then he killed himself and then it still took years for you to come out and admit the truth. Like you are a sick person. Like that bitch first of all needs to be in prison at the very minimum, but at the very like even
I
if
know I
not a
did.
prison, needs to be in like a mental institution or like that is in my opinion, you were like a threat to public. Like at that point, like legit, bro. Like that is a sick human being. Like you have something mentally not clicking, not turning right up there to do that to somebody. Like
I
for
can
real.
I
And
agree.
like I understand that like the people say, well, like a women's like apparently the story. Don't quote me on this, but it was something about like he cheated on her, like they were in a relationship or they were like sleeping together in college, but like he slept with another female, if I remember correctly. And so she was upset about it, and that's why she claimed the rape and all that shit. And because they were actively having sex, she had his DNA and like pictures and whatever. So like it wasn't hard for her like for him to get sentenced, right? But like the fact that if that was the exact case, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Like the fact that you're so insecure and hurt about somebody sleeping with another person that you would literally
Right,
ruin
someone's
their
life.
life.
Yeah.
He took his own life in prison. Dude literally committed suicide in prison, bro. Like how fucking
Not
fucked up
surprised
is
about
that, bro? How fucked up is that, dude? Imagine how his family feels, his parents, his siblings, if he had kids, how they feel about you and what you did to this man. And he killed himself in prison. You took everything away from him that he had and his family. You took a family member away from them by doing that shit. Like, that is dark shit, bro. Like, yeah, that's got to be a mental issue. You know what I'm saying? That's got to be a mental problem that you have in your head to do that. Like, I don't see a regular, like a normally sane person doing that. I
Yeah.
just can't. Like, how? How does that not click in your head one time while he's sitting there getting sentenced in court for raping you, and you know damn well it didn't happen? You know he's about to go to fucking prison and be marked for the rest of his life if he doesn't take his own life. Like, how could you say, like, how insane do you have to be to do that? Like, that is dark shit. Like, I know I'm stressing that, but like, dude, that is dark. That is sick.
It's unfortunate.
Like, I can't imagine. Like, I wouldn't even fake accuse somebody of like stealing a fucking soda out of my fridge. You know what I mean? Let alone fucking some shit that's that serious.
Yeah.
It just seems so
You
insane to
have
me.
to. You honestly mentally fucked
Dude,
if you're
that
doing
seems so insane to me to even think about, to even just try to understand how someone could do that. It just seems so out of this world to me. Like it's just so far like away from where my mental is that I can't even imagine where you would have to be, where your mental state would have to be to do that.
Yeah.
It's fucking
I don't-
insane.
I honestly like can't even comprehend it, so I'm not even gonna try to because honestly, I just
I would like
So
to. I would like to
fucked up.
talk to a psychologist and ask them, like somebody that's interviewed people that have like false. I'm sure there's been somebody that's done studies about it, or interviews, or psychologists, or therapists, or whatever that have talked to people, women that have false claimed rape. And I would like to hear what they say, like what their diagnosis of that person is, like what that person has going on in their life or in their brain or whatever that they would be able to do that to somebody and send them away to prison or possibly.
yeah.
And then sex offenders when they go to prison, they're like,
younger too. So
huh?
something that happened to her too when she was younger. Then obviously stuff like that. I mean, not that
that's like
not. I know. Not
daddy
that
issues is like different than
I know,
like false
but I'm-
claiming rape
but
on
like-
somebody.
I don't know, but like you obviously have never had like a healthy relationship or anything.
No,
If you're doing
clearly.
stuff like that, like, you can't have any sort of mental healthness
No.
to you if you're able
Yeah,
to. Do
you
something
gotta
like
have like real
Real-
emotional
real
problems, mental
Yeah.
stability issues. Like, it's just, dude, it's just insane to me to even think. Like, just sitting here thinking about it, I'm just like, I can't even grasp the fact that somebody would do that shit. Like, I can grasp it that it's happened because I know that it's real and it has for a fact happened. But like, I can't grasp the mindset that someone would have to be in to do that. Is so insane to me. Just like there's a lot of things like that too. It's not just females that false claim rape. Like I can't imagine what mental state you have to be in to go shoot up a school. I mean, it's the same thing. Like I can't, dude. Like you got bullied, grow the fuck up. Like, people don't like to hear that. Like, yeah, he probably has mental problems and he probably has bullying issues or emotional problems, but like, are you serious? You got bullied, so you went and shot a bunch of kids? That was your answer to getting bullied, you bitch? Like, I think if you're
Honestly,
the
that's
school
not a lot of
shooters
people
are
reasoning for
bitches.
either anyways, yeah. But
I
there's
think you're a
literally-
bitch, and I'll tell them to their face. I'll tell every single one of them, you're a bitch to his face. I swear to God, on everything that I love, if I saw one to his face and I could say anything I wanted, I would call him a bitch right to his face. You're a bitch. You got bullied, bro? Okay, I'm sorry. That's fucked up. Sure. I'm not sorry that what you did though does not justify you being bullied. Like, dude, you're a bitch. That's what you are. If you do some shit like that, you are a straight up, you are a bitch. You are a pussy. If you take
like
a
I'm
gun
not
into a
feeling
school to
bullied,
shoot
you know,
kids, bro, you are a bitch. Straight up, bro. Straight up,
No,
bro.
I know.
Like, that
I know,
is
but
bitch shit. Like, that is some bitch
obviously.
shit.
Obvious.
And I don't mean bitch shit as in I'm talking about females. I mean bitches in like you're a fucking, like you're just a fucking weak person. Man, female, it doesn't matter. Whoever the
not a
fuck does
top
shit like that, you are not an OG gangster.
We're not a top G.
No, for real though. Like, that is, like, you gotta be a fucking
No,
bitch.
I get what you're saying. It's just
But even me saying that, having that opinion about those people, I can't comprehend where someone's brain would have to be to take those steps. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I've
I don't
been,
think anybody can. I'm pretty sure nobody can.
dude, I can tell you right now and admit this on like we're live
No matter
streaming
how
this.
mentally broken you are, that no one can be able to understand that.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I'm saying. I've been,
Level
dude,
of-
I've been like mentally torn down. I've been depressed. I've been fucking as angry as anyone you've ever seen in your life in my lifetime. I've been so angry at times, bro. So fucking angry. And I've never been to the angry or depressed or hateful enough so that I could even possibly imagine doing anything even remotely near that. Like, I literally can't comprehend how you could take something that far. I can't. It doesn't process in my brain how far you had to go to get to that point. And bullying doesn't seem like the answer to me. Dude, you got bullied and it took you all the way to shooting innocent children, bro? Like, how fucking much did if you're blaming it on bullying, tell me how much you got bullied to say that that's the reason why. Tell me how far you got bullied to shoot innocent children. Kids. What was the last one? They were elementary, right? 4th, 5th graders, something like that. Third, 4th, 5th graders, something. How? What? I guarantee you wasn't about to go walk into fucking Fort Bragg and start letting that bitch loose.
Yeah.
That's because you're a bitch, and you know that the people with guns are gonna kill you if you shoot at them. And you know that the kids, the little fucking elementary school kids, can't do anything except cower in a fucking scared for their fucking lives, holding on to each other in a fucking classroom, getting gunned down. Like, that's bro. That is bitch shit. Like, that actually is. I'm actually getting angry right now just thinking about how much of a bitch you have to be to do that shit, bro.
Like literally just replaying the Key and Peele skit right now.
My bad, but like, no, but seriously though, like,
Bitch. You ever seen that one?
dude, I'm
Didn't
serious
back
though.
and
Like, that
forth.
that shit makes me angry, bro. Like, we're on a podcast, but like, I don't-
Yes. Obviously, it makes everyone angry, but at
Dude,
the same
like-
time, like,
dude, I could rip someone's head off right now just thinking of that shit. Like, somebody that did that shit. They're probably not literally, but I would try.
so you probably could 1v1 a gorilla.
Yeah, or a grizzly bear. Not literally, but like just the amount of
Not
passion,
literally.
just the amount of passion that I have towards how fucking pathetic people are that do shit like that is pretty crazy, I guess.
They're not top G, so
Yeah, not a OG gangster whatsoever, brother. But I'm being serious though right now. Like, I really think that like
I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. People like that don't even deserve any attention. It should just be
I
a
wouldn't
test of lead.
I wouldn't give them
That's not to
specific.
be,
I wouldn't give them specific attention to anybody. It's just the point that it happens, and that.
just be.
But
yeah.
that also plays into what I'm saying. Plays into like the gun arguments, right? Like the gun control arguments is that people say that it's because you have access to guns, blah blah blah. No, it's really a mental state thing. That's the whole point of what I was saying is I can't imagine mentally being the capacity to do that. So like in my head,
But
how do you
nobody-
mentally
I
get
think-
there?
Let's be honest, though.
Is the
There's a
problem.
reason. There's a reason that people in power don't want us to take more evaluation of mental issues.
Yeah, there's some
Because
reason.
mental issues drive a lot of influence in the
Problems.
world.
Yeah,
Not just in the sake of
with drugs too.
like stuff like that, but like anything, yeah. The
With
way
drugs.
stuff is brain, the right stuff. If people had a better understanding of their own mental health and what their problems were, the world would be completely different. And I think that people in power understand that. It's not.
I think so too.
If that surprises anybody, then unfortunately, you're probably need to get some mental help.
You know, dude, I was watching a Jordan Peterson interview. It was with Joe Rogan, and he said something about, he was like, the problem with a lot of society nowadays is that people try to treat you to be like as gentle as possible and like as calm and like not even be capable of violence, but that's wrong. Like that's not how you should live. And I'm not saying this word for word, but basically what he's saying was, you want to be a monster. You want to live your life knowing that if it came down to it, that you could protect you and yours, but have that on the back burner. Live your life knowing that if somebody walks in here right now trying to kill them, they're going to have a hard fucking time trying to kill me. They're going to have a very hard time. But I'm not going to live my life by that. But I need to know that it's in me, that I have it in me somewhere, that it can drive me to be a better person, because I know that somewhere deep inside me, I know that there could be a dark part of you. And that's kind of what you're saying about like the mental, like, I think everybody to a certain extent has a dark side of them. Like, and I think a lot of things is like, if kind of what, again, this is kind of what you just said, but like, if you don't know your own like realistic mental state, you don't really know what you're capable of until you've gotten to that point, right? But if you know that you're capable of something, even if you haven't done it, but you know that like mentally I could see myself doing this, then you know where to draw the line, and you know to stay away from that and how to be the opposite of that. You know what I'm saying? They said something, it was like a quote, I'm sure you've heard it before, but it was like, I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than be a gardener in a war, right? Basically is the premise of what he was saying. I'd rather know that I have the ability to be a savage if it's needed, but not have to live that way, than to have the incapacity to be that person if it's needed, and then when the time comes, be incapable of reacting how I need to react.
And it's also because it's the same thing with it's clear in our society that it's a problem, considering like suicide rates have
very
greatly
high
increased, especially with
with
technology
males.
advancing.
With
People
males, it's tremendously high.
anybody, but even in general, suicide rates have increased greatly. Like we're clearly showing that our minds are not able to adapt as great as our society is right now, unfortunately, and there's too many issues within society that are just making our minds weaker.
Yeah.
And being able to be less resistant against things. So if you don't build your mind, your mental aptitude to be able to withstand a lot of these things, it's gonna make it harder for you to live. And it's proven that it's. I mean, I'm not obviously. I don't know exactly what the suicide rate is. I couldn't tell you, but I know it has increased and it continues to increase because people are less and less likely to be able to handle the world as it is.
Yeah.
And like if people aren't getting help, especially for stuff like that, it's like that's huge. But it's not even obviously it's not just that though. It is people who wish harm upon others. Like there's obviously a mental issue to it. I mean, you still have to be really fucked up as a human, but also like there's also mental things where I do believe that there are things that some people generally don't understand in their own mental health sometimes, and it does influence the way people do the things people do or the way people think sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't think it also justifies their actions. I'm wholeheartedly never going to say that.
Yep.
If someone does something horrible, it is still their action in the end, regardless if their mental aptitude was way too weak to be able to handle it. They still did it. Regardless, it is still an action.
Should be held accountable.
Actions always speak louder than words. So yes, they're still held accountable. But if they were able to possibly get mental help to keep them from even getting to that situation, who knows what the actual change would have been? Who knows if they would have actually done something as horrible as they did?
You know,
there's something that we will never understand until we actually take an evaluation of mental health and how we're trying to change it as a society.
There's like a group. I don't want to give this too much like attention because it's kind of disturbing. There's like a group that like helps people that are pedophiles. At the end of the day, they're pedophiles. Like they're attracted to children, but they've never acted on that attraction, right? And they try their best to help these people, but then there's like the thing of like, okay, well, they've admitted that they have this problem, right? That they have these desires or these attractions or whatever, right? But what do we do? What can we do to stop? Because they've never done anything. You can't try somebody for something they haven't done. Just because you have thoughts about doing it doesn't mean that you did it or that you're going to do it. But like, are they a threat to the public, or are they a threat to kids? And like, it's a hard thing to balance, because even though they're seeking mental help and they're getting mental help, at the end of the day, how much can you rely on that mental help to prevent them from actually taking action on their, urges? And so like, it's a weird argument. I watched a whole video on it and I was like, wow, this is actually kind of crazy. Like, because what do you do there? You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I still think that's a sick thing to even have those thoughts, right? But then if you at least have the mental capacity to know that, like, for some reason I'm not wired correctly, or I have this mental issue that I have these desires and these urges, but I won't act on them. I'm getting help. I never acted on them before. I won't do it. Then this, like, part of you wants to be like, okay, well, I mean, at least he's getting help. At least he's not doing anything wrong. But then at the same time, you're like, when do I know when that's enough? When can I feel comfortable? Because I would never feel comfortable with my child around someone like that, even if they're getting help, even if they know what the
And that's
problem
the
is and
one
they
thing
admit their
too,
problem.
like-
I'd be like, I can't. You're not gonna be around my kid. I'm sorry, you can't. I'm sorry, I can't do it. But like, at the end of the day, I have to take a certain amount of respect for it, because they're willing to admit their problem and they're trying to get help with it, and they're not actively acting on it. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, that's a kind of a crazy thing to think about. And so you could apply that to the same thing with like
And for
suicide
people,
and
like-
shootings and shit
And
like
for
that.
people who like obviously can never, there's some people like me that can never even understand how you could think like that. So then it's hard for us to be able to even accept that it's a mental issue, just for the sake of like,
What? Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
can
No,
never-
yeah, me too. It's the
I
same as
can
other
never
shit, yeah.
comprehend. Most people are this way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
this isn't common.
Yeah.
This isn't uncommon. This is very common. But like, I cannot comprehend how that could be a thing.
Yeah,
I cannot comprehend that.
yeah.
And so that's also what makes it worse for them, because it is a mental thing. So it is like, how the fuck can someone even? And then you obviously automatically build that, like, that's just fucked up. That's just
Yep.
like,
Dude,
that's
like,
like,
there's a stigma, a justified one, but there's a stigma,
Yeah.
and then
well,
you
because
have,
obviously for people who take actions on it, obviously that's
it's bad. Yeah, it's obviously
Not-
horrible.
Like, sorry, but once
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
you've taken an action on something that,
No, I
in my
agree,
opinion,
yeah.
no matter how mentally fucked up you are, you still should not be taking actions against those things.
No, 100%. That's what I'm saying.
No, I know
Like,
you agree, but I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
I'm just
I think it's just hard to balance, like, how much you can respect them for being open about it and admitting it and trying to get help
Yeah.
and not acting on it, to how much you're gonna still have that stigma and that fucking judgment of them because of the things that they're admitting. Like, how can you, goddamn, like, I mean, okay, like, cool, but look, bro, I can't, like, I don't trust you, like, straight up, I don't trust you around my kids, because you've already admitted to something to me that, like you said, I can't wrap my head around how you think that way or what's wrong with you, but
yeah,
I can't
just
trust you
really
around the
comprehend
kids,
yourself.
because whether you seek help or not, you're telling me and you're admitting that you have urges like this, so, like, it's a problem. And, like, my thing was pointing out that, like, you could take that same situation, like the same whatever thing, and you could apply it to the other things too. Yeah, like people that are suicidal, or people that
I'll never
want to
justify
commit
the act,
mass
but
shootings,
I
or
always question why the
Yeah.
fuck it happened, and like
Yeah.
the mental aptitude behind it. So
and I think if more people,
hope.
and also I think if the more people that came forward and admitted to having, or not admitted, but if they're, the more people that do admit to these things, or that show that they have these urges, not just like the pedophilia one, but like everything, like mass shootings or suicide or whatever, the more people that admit that and talk about it, even though it's fucked up, one is putting those people out and like keep an eye on these people, because obviously there's something wrong. But then two, it also can help people understand it better, of like what causes it or what's wrong, or how to prevent it maybe, or how to try to prevent it or anything. But like, it sheds a light on it. But then the main thing that stops people from doing it would obviously be the negative stigma that comes from that. So even if I don't want to say me, but a person has a desire to like shoot up a fucking building, right? And they just had this strong fucking burning desire to do some fucking nut shit, but they're willing to step forward and be like, look, I have dark fucking thoughts and I be thinking about doing this shit, and it just keeps coming in my head and I can't get it
it's
out.
just
And
the fear of retaliation. So it'll never
their
happen.
fear of
I get it, though.
retaliation, their fear of being stigmatized, of being publicly, shunned, of like all these things, and they don't want to admit that shit. Like, I totally get it. Like, I probably wouldn't either. Like, if I, like, realistically, like, would you? Probably not, bro. Like,
Obviously not.
so that being said, is like, it's hard to get those people before they do what they do, because of the negative
I mean, it's even with like
on-
suicide thing, where it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
even like
yeah.
impact to others, it's impact to yourself. People still have that stigma of like, oh, if I say anything, then I'm
And
gonna
you
be
look
in the wrong.
weak, and you look fucking.
Yeah, something, especially like men too. Yeah, the whole weak thing is horrible for men, unfortunately.
Yep.
But or like even for women, like and in men too. But for women, the biggest stigma is like the whole like, oh, she's just doing it for attention kind of thing.
Yep.
Like there's that too and stuff. Like it's definitely there's a lot of bad stigmas around that stuff that make it harder for people to be more open about it.
Yep.
Even for stuff just as simple as suicide, where it's actually really mostly impacts yourself. It
Mhm.
impacts other people, don't get me wrong, but ultimately you're harming yourself.
Yep.
So
It's
I
fucked up world we live in, man.
would like to end on a nicer note next week, but also I think it's probably time we wrap it up.
I mean, we talked about a lot of shit. It's some important shit.
But
I mean,
next
we're just
time we'll
having
talk
a
about it.
conversation.
We'll finish on a better note, though. Don't worry.
Shit, we're just having a talk, man.
No, I know, but
We're just having a talk. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy
have a
Labor
good
Day.
long one.
Get
If you
your
have a long
last,
weekend.
get your last swim in. If you enjoy that kind of thing, and we'll see y'all next week. I'm Glock.
Have a good one. I'm Duck, and I'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.